I'll see you later.
We're all here.
Is it that time already?
Yeah, Fred, go.
Oh, Fred, you go.
Joseph said a good stream is 90% Lindsay, 15% quiz. Wait a minute, that doesn't add up. Jezza?
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Who hasn't
Me.
muted
That was me. That's blue that time. I know, I muted mine and I went,
sure I was muted.
I was muted and I go, what's going on here?
What's going on here? I made damn sure I'd muted the stream, so I knew it weren't me. Oh, it's nothing like a professional production, eh? And this is nothing like
Professional?
Professional? Well, just at least, I'm glad this time I'm sat in a comfy chair. I'm not perched on top of a bloody walk-in freezer.
Why don't they give you a chair?
Not on top of walking freezers, no.
Yeah, you look for a bucket.
Yep. At one point Tuesday afternoon, I sat on top of two empty the reels that you get cable on.
Yeah,
two of them stacked up. Yeah, they made quite a nice stool for a bit.
5-gallon buckets are perfect.
Yes.
Empty ones though, Blue.
Yeah, preferably with a lid on it.
All buckets empty when you tip them upside down. They might not start out empty, but they will be empty.
Let's see. I said I think I'm too early. Lindsay hasn't ended yet.
Ended? You got that wrong, then.
I better give them the clue. Clive's trying to guess who it is already.
Yeah, I know. All we've got a knee.
Yeah.
Dora's gone for Aristarchus.
Aristarchus.
No.
Too many letters.
No, Fred. I did me talk on ventilation ducts yesterday, Fred, just to piss chemo off, and it worked.
Today's scientist was the first to create a mathematical model of the universe. He was also the first to give a rigorous definition of what today we call the real numbers. He is... Can I try to say his name?
You can try. I'll have to.
I'll have not. I don't know if I can spell it.
Not Eric the Red.
No, that's not one word.
Not Einstein. No.
Colon says, "Is it Emmanuel?" And this is a very different stream.
Yeah. I don't think Ptolemy works, truth nurse. Yeah.
So it's not the one I said?
Not Euclid.
Okay.
Oh, the one you said. Have you typed it in chat, have you? Let me have a
No,
look.
I gave it to you.
No, it's not Euclid. No.
On the flows.
So
not Euripides. No.
Trying to spell it. Either one didn't matter.
Apparently, flat earthers are pretty good at doing this, and they complained bitterly when they did it to what was his name, Brian. I can't think of his surname now.
There's a few Brians.
Remember Brian Mullen? How they claimed that George apparently did this to him.
So, yes.
The thing that they did to Brian Mullen sounds very similar to this guy's name. Not Leak. Brian Mullen. You know,
No, it
balls
wasn't
out
Mabber.
physics.
I guess there might be a bit of a delay on the stream.
Yeah.
Brian's logic.
Well, the guys on the brow, didn't they? Oh, excuse me. Oh. It's all that vodka liqueur I was drinking last night.
I only had one pint when I went to the pub last night, mostly because my wheelchair has gone in for service, and you know when you have problems with a courtesy car
Mm-hmm.
because they're always a bit crap.
Yeah.
Well, this wheelchair keeps trying to kill me.
Oh, that's not good. That's not a good trait to have in a wheelchair.
No,
There you go. Truth Nerd's got it.
Oh,
Never heard of him.
Well done, Truth Nerds. It is indeed Eudoxus.
and of course George didn't actually do that, but you know.
No, that's right. He didn't.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a crap story.
No.
Yeah, that bridge Terry wants to launch me off. As it goes over the top and starts going back down the hill, something seems to happen with the near side wheel, which seems to stop providing forward thrust.
Oh,
This is exceedingly bad because Chair tries to do a very, very sharp left turn. And I thought the first time it happened was because I was just going full chat and it overspeeded. But then when I tried it a little bit less throttle, it did exactly the same thing at about exactly the same point on the bridge.
It wants to drive you off the bridge, does it?
Paul, it turns left so sharp, I honestly thought it was going to tip the bloody chair over.
You're sure there's not someone sitting a certain distance away with a remote control?
here he comes. Right, there we go.
Have you pissed someone off lately, Alan?
I might have pissed the bloke in the British gas van that thought just because the lights have changed, that means that I can intimidate the vehicle that's already still crossing the controlled area. The vehicle you're supposed to give way to, even before they changed the road rules over here earlier this year, with all that crap about cyclists and what have you.
Oh yes, now cyclists and pedestrians have now got the right of way.
And wheelchairs, of course.
Yes.
So
See-
yeah.
See, says Alan, it's the military background. Left turn.
Yeah.
Left hand down a bit.
They programmed
I
the
like Doris' comment.
wheelchairs to get rid of the elderly and disabled. How evil.
Twitter feed for Silverstone's just sort of said, okay, quality predictions, go. And I just put rain. I don't know. But it's going to rain.
Brady, I have a bus, I have right away. No, you don't.
Well, he does, because he's generally bigger than everybody else. That's
Yeah,
why I
that's-
don't argue with lorries when I'm out on my motorbike, because they'll just go, oh, what was that?
Yeah, you know all that talk about taking up a dominant, a position in your lane so that people don't screw you around. I finally realised where that is in my wheelchair. At least 2 meters from the curb.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be probably past the midpoint of your lane.
Because when I'm on the main coast road, the A149, if there's no traffic coming the other way, there's plenty of road for people to overtake me.
Oh yeah.
And if there's and if there is stuff coming the other way, well, they're going to have to wait because there's not enough room to try and squeeze past. When I tried driving in the curb, when you have a 40 ton Arctic passing you 50 miles an hour faster than you're going, and you can reach out and touch it.
Yeah.
And you can't move away from it because you're as far over on the road as you can get, because they realise that they can squeeze past. That's scary.
Oh, it's a helicopter. Boring.
Oh, Gary's here.
Hello, it's still not flat day.
Told you, Gary, you're the sphere. Trump's good flat Earth day. Dora's gone to lurking mode.
Yeah, had to go shopping or something. Just desperately trying to avoid Lindsay, I think.
Well, I do have a little bit of other dirt we can play a little bit of.
Oh yes. How far back do I need to be sitting?
Probably round the corner and over the freeway.
Shall I go and hide in the bathroom?
No, a bit further than that even.
Oh shit. That bad.
Not Falzoid, is it?
Well, somebody did do a long recording of it because it did get dragged on for a while. But I don't think we're going to be able to sit through all of it.
If it's what I'm thinking, I've had 2 goes at sitting through all of it and failed twice.
What, the hour and 35-minute video from somebody who might be present?
Yeah.
That they posted.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I thought, no, there's no way I'm going to be able to watch that.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
No, I couldn't.
It's one thing watching it when it's live. It's another thing going back and watching it when you know how long it's going to be.
Well, I was going to say, if we could edit out the stupid bits, we'd still end up with a long video.
Yeah, about an hour and 20 minutes, huh?
Yeah. Now, it's a typical...
Oh, edit them out. Okay, edit them out.
They won't. Because say
I went the wrong way. Yeah.
Edit out the stupid, and it'll be a hello, a goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's it.
No, I picked up on it.
Perfect length, flat Earth video.
No, I picked up on one of the typical tactic, the definition of a word. And that's what he was playing on.
Yeah, because that's how
another
you do science,
another word, a different word this time. So I'm getting it outvoted for that video then. Oh, I'll watch Lindsay then.
You really did?
You
really
have a third choice?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Spitfires to turn up.
Oh, okay.
But it's all gone quiet.
I didn't even
Practice
notice
is
any
over.
debates, even for the last couple of days.
Oh, what I was catching up on this morning is the non-secretary show last night had a live phone in. MC Toon was in there and Red's Rhetoric, and they said, flat earthers call in, and yeah, they got one called in. Penny, I think he was called or something, and it was just a typical flat earther, ignorant, rude. Asks a question. When you get 2 words into giving them an answer, he keeps on talking again. And
What's blue?
Oh, Bev.
What's blue live over on Discord?
Huh?
I know you're sharing your screen over in Discord. I was just wondering what you were doing.
Oh, wait, yeah, I was watching a Flatzoid debacle.
Oh, okay. What, anything worth watching?
No.
Okay.
oh, hello, Merlin's. Oh, there he goes. Acting Spitfire.
Stick your headphones out the window. You might be able to hear it.
I heard it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think there's only one.
Oh, okay.
It's not much of an air show on one plane when you see him here all the bloody time.
Yeah, if you hear it
He
making
doesn't-
a high-pitched sound with the engine drone, duck.
What if he makes it sound like a duck? No,
Those Merlins are pretty distinctive.
Indeed.
yeah, I say we get him over here all the time because he'll have come out of Sywell.
Is it one of the T9s? The 2-seaters?
Job to tell. He can't really because he was quite close, so you see him more the underside than anything else. But I can hear he's droning out over the other side there now. He'll just do what they normally do, fly around a couple of times and then bugger off back again.
Yeah.
Do they have any trainers, or are they all single-seaters?
No, they do have the one, at least one of the Spitfires is a 2-seater jobby, and it does have dual controls because if you pay the just shy of $3,000, you actually the instructor will let you take over and you'll get hands on stick and do a little bit of flying yourself. The Mustang was always big enough to have somebody else sat in the back, but that isn't dual control, so you can sit in there but you can't fly it.
Yeah.
I think it might have a pair of 2-seater Spitfires. I can't remember now, but
Oh, there's about half a dozen T9s knocking around the country.
yeah.
And they've actually converted a couple of Mark 9s to T9 standard because it's a bit of a money maker. They've even built a 2-seat Hurricane now.
Yes, yes, they have.
There's a
It's too far away.
2-seat 109G something or other in Germany. Again, they converted it to a 2-seater, but they did do a 2-seater. There was a contemporary 2-seat version of it.
Yes, they did have an actual.
Make many of them.
Well, most of them. The 109 had a 2-seat trainer. The FW 190 had a 2-seat trainer. They were, proper conversions.
Clive, most of the Spitfires had Merlins. It was Mark 14s and later that had the Griffin, I think. And of course, you have to remember that not all, they got up to the Mark 24, but there weren't 24 variants.
Did you hear that?
Made it into.
No.
No, he's not close enough. I
think the noise cancelling is doing a fairly good job of noise cancelling as well.
Yeah, he is. He's over the circuit anyway, so he's probably about. He's at least half a mile away.
Can't you get a couple of flags out and wave to him to tell him to come over closer?
Well, what I'm hoping that the weather will clear up tomorrow, so that when we get our own personal red arrows display, And they tend to come in. I think the first year I was here, I thought Matey Boy was going to have the roof off the house. He was that bloody low. I ducked as he came over. He was bloody low, because they do that. That's one of the things the Red Arrows do. They'll do a display and they'll have most of the aircraft, and you won't notice there's 2 or 3 missing, and then they'll suddenly pop in out of, if everything's going on over here, it's like, oh, watch my left hand, and the right hand suddenly whoosh, and then they come at low level. And I think that's what he was doing. He came in over the village, and he was, there weren't that many feet between him and the roof of the houses.
Would the later ones be more likely to have survived to the present? That's what Clive wanted to know.
The Spitfires, they carried on using the Spitfires after the war. And they have, sort of found and dug up Spitfires and somehow managed to restore them. Not quite sure how much the original aircraft's left, but and there's no end to Merlin engines. I mean, if you go into Hangar 2 at Duxford, where the old Flying Machine Company are based, certainly the last time I was there, in the corner of the hangar, there was about 20 crates that all held Merlin engines. There just seemed to be no end of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
The most likely Mark of Spitfire to have survived is the Mark 9. And we all know why the Mark 9 is the one that was most likely to survive. It's the one they built the most of.
Yeah, exactly.
But the funny thing is, the progression from the Mark 1 to the Mark 1A to the Mark 2 to the Mark 5s and then the Mark 9 is pretty much, until you get to the Mark 9, all they did was they just put a bigger and bigger and bigger bloody engine in it.
Yeah.
The 5 to the 9 was where they changed from the 3-bladed to the 4-bladed propeller, and they changed the oil. They changed a little narrow round oil cooler for another big radiator. So the Mark 9s have 2 big square radiators under the wings, whereas the earlier Marks have a square one and then a little sort of very thin, long one.
Oh, well, that didn't last long. I guess he's buggered off. It's all gone quiet.
Yeah.
I said, it's no more than we see here most days of the week, to be honest. Never mind. A Honda CBX with a 6-into-1. Yes, that's yeah. I see where you're coming from there with that, Irish.
Sorry, but nothing is as good as Merlin.
If you're very lucky, the Daimler-Benz engine that they fitted in the Messerschmitt. But you're doing well to find one of them that runs.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal preference for the German gear.
Yeah. I mean, I have heard the Benz engine, but like you say, I haven't heard it enough, because so much of the pseudo-German aircraft operated in the UK, of course, are all former Spanish Air Force. Casters and Bouchons with Merlins.
Oh, Lindsay's been a busy boy, hasn't he?
Yeah, I know. We're still 6 behind. You'll have a lull one week and we'll be able to catch up.
Yeah.
A proper 27-13 this week, then.
Oh, Demon Orb appears to be tracking the Spitfire I was just watching. Because he said on Flight Radar 24, there's a Spitfire heading to Aylesbury. Well, that'll be... He didn't come back this way, so yeah, he probably was. He's done this and gone to Aylesbury. Huh. Bloody hell.
Pre-war 250 supercharged
DKW two-stroke.
Wing tester.
Oh, look. Clive Wales, masochist. Double dose of Lindsay today?
No.
No.
Bugger off.
I thought it was time for a cup of tea.
We better do some catching up. We've got to finally figure out the tropical gap. Well, I know that where there's a gap, but it's not tropical.
There's MK356. Yeah, MK356 is the one of the BBMF aircraft, and it's yes, heading towards Aylesbury.
Aylesbury, which is that way.
It's just northwest of Aylesbury. And yeah, you can see where it came down over Silverstone and did literally one pass over the circuit.
See if he beats up the local airfield near me. Okay.
Oh, it's getting colder.
It might be time for to go and make a cuppa.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, it's about that time of day. Yeah, go and buy what's on that whiteboard. Yeah,
It's time to go and do those chores you've been putting off for the last, I don't know how long. You got just under 27 minutes to do it.
well, a bit less if you're playing it at Lindsay speed.
Yeah. Didn't we work it out the other day? Divided that by the 1.25 by the...
Yeah, it doesn't actually. You still get 20 minutes worth.
Yeah. Oh, well, pull the band-aid off, Farmer.
Press play, please, Terry.
Divided by 1.5
Carl said, oh no, me power's going off again.
is 21 minutes, 46.4 seconds.
Yeah, put him in the next room, Fondle.
Shit, I got too far.
Oh, can't they hear it?
Cancer on the north side, Capricorn out down the south side. Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere.
Sorry about
See
that,
the
you just
Earth
couldn't
map?
hear it.
It's the same, north, south. So you've got the system going on. It's all about life, creation, because you've got the female and the male, right? It's a two-way system where we get friction. So the negative is flowing water between the Earth. You've got the Earth as a neutral. Actual negative is positive atmosphere, right? Negative is below the Earth. It's the friction of the water on the neutron, basically, the Earth. That's the negative. There's the flowing water. Fresh water is underground, coming all the way from the Arctic, after it's been purified. And this comes up this way. It gets pulled up because the magnetic fields are getting pulled down this way, and it draws that up. There's always a counter force, right? So in science they talk about electrons this, electrons that. So you call them electrons. They're coming down here, they come up and they all build up on the edge here, just like in a magnet. I'll draw that picture somewhere. I'll draw it on my notes. Like a magnet, you get all the, like say, electrons all building up, all rearing to go and building up this side, north and south side, all the energy's there, you know. It's the same thing that's happening here. That's what's happening. There's the south pole and the north pole. This is the weaker force, strong force. And they build up here, and this is when the odd electron gets knocked off to create life. They die, and this coming through creates new life. It's like man and woman, sex, ejaculation. We say ejaculation maybe. It comes up and goes back down through here. And you can even bring the old Fella story in of creation about someone ejaculated in space and created the Milky Way. That's what it's related. That's where it comes from. So this coming up here, coming pulled back into the centre here, is this system here. This two are not opposite spins, and this is the helix. It sort of looks like a square, and it's described in earlier too. The square. There's the helix system going on up here, comes up straight down, and there's the sun. And then you've got the other system coming up, the dual north and south magnetic fields from the Earth, coming up this way, because they're not actually touching. They're avoiding each other. Kim Vella mentions something about avoidance, but they've got the system coming up here and this coming in here, and there's the sun. And in the Iliad, he talks about the knee joint. The sun is there. And this angle here is probably the 60 degrees, physics talks about. The Milky Way 60 degrees off the ecliptic plane or something. Look at this up and out system going on, up and out. And then we have this down and in the centre. It's a two-way system. So you're looking down on it, there's your two-way system. You've got one spinning one way, one spinning the other, which is this one raising, so the background stars are rising, because it's part of the system in here too. It's all coming up into the sun, but the sun's passing by. But it's all in slow motion, obviously, because these stars, all the background stars, we lose them eventually. They'll get sucked back into the centre and burnt up down through the centre here. This is partially some of the shooting stars you see. But this is the field coming back down. But at the end of the day, it's all going in the one system. It's all turning in the one system. You can picture that. That's where we see the, because we're looking down there, that's projected up, and that's how we see the northern hemisphere, anti-clockwise. So if you go anti-clockwise and you look at the south, you've got clockwise, and you're going like this, aren't you? Well, we sort of see them vertically, don't you? But if you start bringing them up and over your head, they come up like this and then come down to the tropics like this. And they're winding down the tropics like this. So this is how you can imagine what's going on in physics when you're talking about the magnetic field, the right-hand rule, the magnetism in that. And this is also talked about in the Iliad of the man's legs, because you're facing your face on. So you look at the man, so you're looking face on to a man, that's his right side, and your right side is going to be his left side. So that's the left side. When they talk about left and right, in physics there's no left and right when it comes to this sort of thing. Now there is, so you have to look at it that way. So that's the south will be the left side, the way I see it. They come up like this and then come down. So they go up and then they come down like this, see? And they meet like this. This is them merging like this. It's moving, constantly moving around at the meeting point in the tropics there. And this is the right-hand rule. You got your thumb, electrical, the magnetic. Here. It's just the human body. It's all connected. You got left and right here. This is how you describe it. It comes like this. It comes in like this, and it's got the gap. And then you turn around, you look at that, you got a gap. Look at the negative image up here. You've got the bull's head. We're talking about the bull. The magnetic field's all represented by the bull and the horns. Here, look. You got a bull's head in there with the horns. So
I know what sort of bull he's talking
about. It's all about the magnetic fields meeting here, merging like this. So there's this connection with the earth. You've got that connection with the human brain, and you got this celestial thing going on up there as well. That's what the bull's all about. And this is how it works. You get the electrical system coming out from the south here, coming out and around like this. Remember, this is a mirrored image of in here. So it comes in and comes out there. So you can imagine that magnetic field flowing over here. The sun will be directly electrical, directly straight up and down here, isn't it? You get out here at like 36, 40 degrees. In New Zealand, the sun's quite raw. It's quite strong. It's straight up and down. But as it comes to the tropics, it's going down like this. It's swinging around, going down. This is the Opbos effect. This is the Coriolis, and then as it goes down, there's the Opbos. The sun, electrical, is going on a bit of a lean, isn't it? You're getting less direct sun in the tropics. It's very humid, but it's not. The sun's not burning you.
Throw the word Coriolis in there.
You could say it's the moisture.
And the Opbos effect. What's that got to do with the price of bread?
Goes down, gets to these tropic regions here, and they drop straight down. It's even described. The Iliad is the base of all the ancient stories. King Arthur,
Not that
Jack the
good.
Beanstalk,
No.
all those videos you can connect with the flat earth all come from the Iliad. Because even King Arthur is talking about fishing and dropping the line straight down here. The master stayed back in the castle. The son went out there and entertained the guests, dropped his fishing rod, went fishing. But it's all esoteric knowledge, not the average person can read it, but anyway, that's why I'm breaking it down for you. They got that, it's the right hand rule, the human body can do it. That's it. Describes the magnetic field of Earth. So, here's the right hand rule. So understanding this, the loop, because the central bodies go around us and then do the loop behind us where they spin down twice, come back out again over a night. Well, it's all a projection out here. Everything we see is all a projection from the centre, place we do not know of, beyond us. It's all projected out from there and it just turns around. Our field turns around, goes in, does a loop, down and in, then up and out again. It's doing every night. You see the southern stars that come around. You track a star and you go like this. Hang on. Reason you're looking at it, but they're moving west. Yeah, they swing west like this. But they're going out of the picture about here. So when they go out of the picture about here, is when they start, well, they move this way and they go out of your, they go to the far west and then they just disappear. But it's going back around you, like, because it's a mirrored image. This is out south, of course. It's a mirrored image of what's going on in the north, but in actual fact they're tucking back in, getting lost back in the centre. A bit hard to describe, actually. That's what they're doing. So this system here is this system here. In our earlier videos you might have seen where I show the sun, the black hole and the moon. I said they're all the same size. Well, they're not. Because then you start losing the baby effect. It's supposed to represent a newborn baby, rebirth and all that. Baby born in a manger. A manger is a long trough, which is the Milky Way. Christ is born in the manger. It represents a baby, the head, the body. You got the moon. The moon's the same size as the sun because it's the negative image of the sun. And we've seen in solar eclipses that the shadow is 4 times the size of the sun, isn't it? So that's probably roughly 4 times the size of the sun. That's what it looks like. That sun moves around the horizon of the black hole. And because of the vortex, there's it's got a slight wave in it. This is why the Egyptians talk about the solar boat, because it's on a wave. The sun moving across the sky on its boat. It's because it's a solar wave, and that's the seasonal changes. It's the declination, or perihelion down there, or aphelion back up here. That's what it does over the year, one big swoop. But at the same time, it's going around. So every day it's going around, but it's slightly moving up or down. That's the solar boat, okay? There's the sun sitting on top, in here, waving around like this. Egyptian solar boat. So this is moving around the black hole, doing its wave. But the sun's got the most energy. It leaves all the stars behind it. It chases the stars. So there's no stars coming around the sun. You don't get this elliptic look. Elliptic, yeah. Physicists have got all these calculations as to why, how the elliptic thing works with the planets. And it just proves 100% that it's all BS. They've manufactured it all, and it means nothing because it doesn't work that way. Nothing goes beyond the sun. The sun is always quicker, so nothing passes the sun. Nothing can get out here around like this and create an elliptic cycle. It's all circular. And no physicist with the brain will go and tell you that the planets are doing ellipses. No, they won't. Despite all the calculation, all the BS that is all manufactured, because the sun is always moving quicker. So it's always on that circle. The planets are always moving in a circle, and as the sun comes out, catches them.
All orbits are
also
elliptical.
talked about in the Iliad.
They
How
are.
the sun swallows them up, or how stars will fall back, or the army will fall back, because it's chasing and catching, which you really want to go. It's catching stars. It creates a fallback. Oh yeah, it creates the stars back here falling back because new stars will come in. It's all about that. Because the more it chews up this way, the more will pop out this way. But the original star, say, will drop back, or the new ones move in. It's all described in the military actions in the Iliad. So over time, the sun, it's in the Milky Way, everything's turning. And the Milky Way's turning. It's turning too, because the helix, it's all moving like this. All in slow motion, eh? But it's the sun slipping ahead quicker. There's a centre of energy in there. He's the big chief, the big god. He slips ahead, and that's the position of the equinoxes. Polaris is always there because Polaris is the sun. It's just a different image. The sun is still a star at the end of the day. And that goes deep into enlightenment too. That is like the sun changing. Another star moves in and replaces it at a solar eclipse. That's deep.
Hey,
But
go
this is
for it,
Polaris is
Phil.
always there. And Polaris Australis is just the mirrored image, way back over here. There's a weaker field, it's a weaker image, harder to see. So you're getting all this gas, hydrogen, frozen, then it gets heated at freezing point, or beyond that. starts dripping down here like tears, it's just like mist above the Beaufort Gyre. It's just completely always falling into here. Earth will never ever run out of water. There's another big hoax.
Oh,
Still
how
running.
much time? How much time we got on the memory card?
That's another big hoax. Earth will never ever run out of water because it's always a continuous recycling system. It goes up, comes back in, up, and comes back down. Beaufort Gyre up north. Check out earlier videos. You'll find the mythological stories. The Irish mythological stories describe it all. It represents, immortals, young-looking people, because the healthy water is what keeps you young. Pure hydrogenated water. That's all the elites look
Hydrogenated
younger
water.
and they keep their jobs forever. Royal family, they're probably drinking this water straight from the Beaufort Gyre up north. I think there's a water purifying plant up there somewhere. I read.
Oh, yeah, up near the North Pole.
Over
Yeah, we've
here.
got water purifying plants.
And
Yeah,
understand the
we
field
have.
model,
They're
how
on
we
board
get-
the nuclear
this is
submarines.
reducing. So the field reduces. That's why they want you to think you live on a bore. It's all reducing back down under, right? But this is getting you there quicker. The expanding field here is just getting you there quicker. So you can imagine it's just shrunk down because you've got there quicker. You get there quicker. This is all the same as back here. Some videos on this. This is how you explain this flat Earth model and how they put the globe back here. The globe is a model, is a good model for using GPS, because that's the magnetic field, isn't it? That's a toroidal field. And so they start with like 0 up here somewhere, and then they've got 0 back here. It's just a mirrored image. It's halfway. It's just mirrored. 31 degrees south, 31 degrees north. You don't have to put much brain power in to figure out how they do it as a grid. So Nigel Cheese talks about pi and time. I don't know much about that, but I'm assuming time is represented in here, expanded or whatever, I don't know how he describes it. And there's got pi, and I'm assuming this would be related to pi. Time is longer than pi or something or other. But it's all there. Another dual system,
Pi,
one gets
I like
bigger
pi.
while the other gets smaller. Earth is all about the dual system. Pairing or married son and daughter. This is described in the Iliad. So there's like the male in here, the sons, SONs, and these are the daughters, all the females. Okay? Negative flow of water. There has to be death to create life. And this is the born again story in religion. You go through death, so you die and you're reborn. And that's another deep story. I'll have to leave that one for another day. Okay? Blue is Earth's magnetic field. So I've got blue here. So blue, you're moving up like this, down, through the Earth, back up, and down like this. Check out earlier video, I mentioned a few things about that in this recycling system. Now, let's move on to these notes. This is going to take a while too, so got 6 minutes left. So, right, we start off. Fell heavenly to ground like dust, minerals in the atmosphere. Now, this is in the Iliad. Fell heavenly to ground. He's talking about this purification, the lightning and that, ionising the atmosphere and basically blasting the minerals and that out of the water as it's trying to purify the water as it expands and rises. So this thing fell heavenly to ground like dust, and that's what it's doing. And this is the minerals in the atmosphere. And also connected with raising the Kundalini, leaving the crap behind, raising the spirits. 2, noble gas filtration, bottom of page 283 in the Iliad. If you've got the Iliad, oh well, I don't know if the pages are all the same, but anyway, in mine, I've got the Iliad, and it goes straight into the Odyssey. Noble gas is talking about this filtration system on page 283. Quantum tunnelling. So that this Philip Ball talks about the quantum tunnelling, which is basically describing coming through the light, getting through here, getting up to the atom, helium, which is also connected to the electron somehow. I'm not quite sure there, but anyway, working their way through the system here. Planets do vibrate. Planets do vibrate. You get some science says that planets are solid, they don't vibrate, blah, blah, blah. Of course they vibrate. Everything's resonating frequency. Everything vibrates to a resonant frequency. Everything's vibration. Even the human body is all vibration. Superposition of energy states. See, because of this happened a couple of days ago, I can't break this down now. Energy states, superposition of energy states. The superpositions are here in the energy states. It's all connected in here. You've got to check out the video and connect it with all this. Light and fire. He talks about a lot of the old guys, Niels Bohr. It's about quantum biology. It's quantum mechanics. It's all connected. Genetics, transmitting information. The double helix. This is why they're coming back to consciousness. And quantum, computers, what do you call them? Massive computers. That's getting really freaky because they're starting to work like a brain. Because all this is connected with the brain, northern and southern hemispheres of the brain, left and right, whatever. They're starting to understand everything. That's why it's getting really freaky. Photosynthesis, reaction center, where it causes an electron to be spat out, which is basically here, loosens it, gets spat out, and sent down a relay of molecules, where it eventually is used to split water and produce the energy storage of the cell. It's all about, this is a centre here, exposed out here. And it's a three-way system going on that creates life. The font of all life on earth, he even says that, and it is. This energy it hops its way randomly till it eventually finds its way to the photosynthesis reaction centre. And so it's coming out of here, comes out of here, comes down there, goes all the way out here, then comes back to this energy centre. So it's talking about these ones going all the way out here randomly, and the odd one just getting shot out here. Because the rest will go down this way and go through the earth, come back to recycle into the sun this way, or pass by and come back down this way. Because not everything gets locked in here, it's passing by. They are called excitons, wave-like pockets, but found now to be incoherent waves, quantum coherence. Then you go all into that. The thinkers will figure all this out. I mean, I can't break it all down. I'm not all on the top of my head. Yeah. Ken Wheeler talks about coherence when it comes into magnetic fields. All this is associated with magnetic field. He talks about this. Back to magnetism now.
That's the definition of irony.
Then we have quantum biology, Roger Penrose's book, Shadow of the Mind. 8. Quantum theory, chemical bonding, electrons, specific energy. Atoms contain planets. Oh, this is, what's his name? Ernest Rutherford, yeah. So he proposed this atom system, the electrons flying around, is it like a miniature astro, cosmological event? It is. This is what it's all about. Electrons, all the females, moon, planets and everything, you got the proton, the sun. What have we got here? Quantum theory, chemical bonding, electrons, specific energy, but can change orbits by jumping one orbit to another. So they're talking about here. They're changing. These are basically orbits. That's how they describe it. It's in here, they get through here, they get purified back to renewing. It's all about that, the cycle of life. By jumping out orbits, by jumping one orbit to another, by emitting or absorbing energy, meaning swallowing up or spitting out a photon of light at a particular wavelength. That's all connected in here. It's all about energy.
Classic Lindsay episode, cut off in his prime.
And he was almost there. Almost had it.
Damn it.
So close.
Yeah.
Missed it by that much.
Wow. That was peak
Special.
Lindsay.
Yep. Pretty special.
Yeah.
I reckon the most ironic bit in that video was when he mentioned about Ken Wheeler talking about coherence.
Yeah.
The one thing that never came out of Ken Wheeler was coherence.
Is anything coherent? Yeah.
Nothing coherent ever came out of that man.
Never.
No. Dear, oh dear.
Yeah, truth nerds. That's pretty much what it is. It's the turbo encabulator.
Yep. Pretty much.
Well, Jezza said part 3, Terry. No. I'll keep you in suspense. I'll have to play at least a couple of minutes of that video, Blue. It's very entertaining, the one you did.
Okay.
I won't play all of it.
I may have to stab myself in the eye with an ice pick.
Uh,
What if I could
I know,
throttle myself with this lead?
I know. I think I watched all of it.
Really?
Oh man.
Wow.
I mean, I listened to it. I
are-
was doing something else at the time, but it was in. And as soon as I heard a certain part that he was saying that he was when he was arguing, I thought, yeah, I know what you're doing.
How much Novocaine did you inject into your brain before you did that, Terry?
I know. I've got to endure some of these things sometimes. Self-inflicted, I know. Oh, we don't need to jump from the start. I think it's only just the first bit at the start. I think it's the most interesting bit, if you could say that. Go from about there, I think. Yeah, put your monitors in the next room or in the neighbour's house.
The picture underneath, he sort of turns LIGO through 90 degrees, and he puts the corner station in that position. So the corner station is the other end of that arm, and he puts another tangent there.
And it's the beginning of the other arm as well, right?
Yeah. So it's one arm of LIGO that has a tangent point on each end.
No, it's 2 arms of LIGO, each having a tangent on one end.
The corner point is a shared.
Well, it's just a way to represent it, Beth. Let's be really clear about this. Neither one of the first of all, just because it says horizontal does not intend to represent that either of those arms are horizontal. They're not.
Are they the arms, though? That line there that says horizontal line in both pictures, are they meant to depict the arms, or are they just a random horizontal line?
It can be as you like, but it can be depicting the arm as a straight line, which is what those lines are. But they're not horizontal by the definition that you guys.
It says horizontal on them, Blue.
I see what it says, Bev, but the LIGO arms at Hanford, both of them slope.
So not horizontal then.
Their elevation changes from one end to the other. But what?
Oh, I've seen the elevation drawings for him as well.
Yeah, well, he's put the. Have I? I've seen them in great detail, and you know I have.
The elevation.
Yeah.
The elevation profiles.
Yes. Yes, and I've used them in videos that I've made. I know you've seen those too. And he's put the elevations at various points.
Yes.
He picked 1, 2, 3, 5, both ends and 3 points along the length of it.
Read Bill's comment.
Spaced.
Yeah.
Here's the one where they've got the elevation profiles.
And that's what he's what you put up there a minute ago. That's perfectly fine for the discussion, because all he's showing you.
I'm asking about the 2 tangent points at each end of that line, Blue. That's all I'm asking about. I wanted to ask FV Dogma, but you said
it's a tangent point at one end of each line.
Yeah, but there's the corner point. It does say the corner station. The corner is a shared point of both lines.
And that corner point is at a different elevation. So you can have a different tangent at that point. At that elevation, you can
should
have
only
an
be
infinite
able to have
number of
one
tangents.
tangent point on a straight line, right?
And it is only one on each line.
Two.
No,
One on
Bill.
each end.
No, do you see, look at the upper drawing? Okay, look at the upper drawing, which is I'm not sure which arm that is, but we'll just call it the upper and lower for this discussion.
He's got a tangent point on the corner station. That's on the other end of that line.
No,
you should do it again. You should put another one over there and have
Bev, look at the upper drawing. You see one line. You see one tangent identified on each one of the drawings, right? Do you see two tangents on either one of those drawings?
Well, yeah, but that corner station has a tangent on it. He just hasn't drawn it in the top picture because it'd look fucking stupid drawing two tangents on one fucking line.
Because it isn't. He didn't draw it because it's not there, Bev. There's only one tangent on that upper drawing. That's at the 520.
There's two tangents in the picture, bloke.
520.
One at the corner point and one at the end station. Every dogma's drawn it.
There's a tangent in the upper drawing at 529.63 feet elevation. There's a tangent in the lower drawing at 533.78 feet, and those two tangents are running perpendicular to each other, but they're not in the same plane.
When you say tangent, do you mean tangent point or tangent line?
It's a tangent line. It's a tangent point.
Yeah, two tangent points on one tangent line, right? Fucking ridiculous.
No, not fucking ridiculous. One tangent point on each line, Biff.
A horizontal line as well.
Well, that's just a word. We know those that both the arms have slopes. You can see that in the elevations. You can see that, right, Bev?
It's horizontal.
529 on one end, 533
horizontal lines in
point.
mathematics have zero slope.
533
right?
at the center point on the other arm, and 537 at the far end of it. You can see that, right? So it's sloping uphill, right?
Right. So there's no way that could be horizontal. That's a mistake, did he? Is that a deliberate mistake? How many other people
it's not a mistake, Bill. He could have chosen
wrote
maybe
horizontal line
word.
on it. That's a bit
He could have put maybe a different
word.
It's not
horizontal.
Well, you can see the elevations. What do you think?
Is it a mistake that he put two tangent points on the same straight line as well?
He didn't put two tangent points on the same straight line. Bill. He put one tangent point on each of two lines. Can't you see that? What's wrong with you? Can you not
533.7
Simply must have a lot of patience.
Station has a tangent point on it.
And
5.2963 feet has an end station has a tangent point on it.
That's right. That's two separate
lines.
the
same straight line, Blue.
No, it's not, Biff. They're running 90 degrees to each other. Two different lines.
The corner station is part of that line there,
this
right?
Is an
from the end station to the corner station.
Do you know what an interferometer is, Biff? It's two arms and they intersect at 90 degrees. Okay, it's two.
And the corner point is the shared, isn't it?
Those are two arms that intersect at 90 degrees. That's not the same line.
This is why I won't talk about.
That's not one great big long tube.
By the time the Foxtrot Oscar, a long time ago.
Two separate tubes intersecting at a corner point. Yeah.
Corner point belongs to both
pulling your hair out after his first.
So what? That's
I just wouldn't sit for it. I'd just tell the same and I'd be glad.
That same elevation belongs to an infinite number of points all over the globe, Bev. That 533.78 foot elevation gets carried all over the globe. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's just a straight line, isn't it?
Just because those two arms
I know they've marked it horizontal, and you say it's not horizontal.
At that point, makes no difference.
But it's definitely a straight line, isn't it?
The LIGO tubes are straight, perfectly straight, yes.
Okay. So you do have two tangent points, one at each end of a straight line. Or, don't. F.E. Dogma does in his depiction.
No, he does not. His depiction is crystal clear. He does not show two tangent points on the same arm. He shows one tangent point on each of the arms. Can you not see that?
Corner points are shared.
I don't care whether it's shared or not, Biff. That corner point is shared with that elevation all over the globe in an infinite number of places. That elevation is shared everywhere. Do you not know that?
I do know what a tangent point is, Blue.
Okay, and he shows one tangent point for
Shouldn't
one
be
arm,
two
Sure.
on one
and
straight
he
line.
shows a second tangent point for the second arm. And because they happen to be at the same elevation, that's interesting. That's handy, but that's not two tangent points on the same line. That just happens to be a tangent point at the ending elevation of one of the lines.
Everybody else can see that it is.
No, I don't think anybody else can
You
see it.
don't think that the corner point is shared with the end?
I didn't say, huh? No, the corner point's not shared with the end.
It looks like it. In that top picture where he's got tangent point at the end station, the corner point looks like it's the same straight line.
Okay, you're saying that is the end of the top arm at the
it's the same. It's the same straight line, isn't it?
How'd you keep your cool, Blue? I can't work it out. To keep talking over you all the time.
Belongs to that.
Do you know
I
what
kept
a
throwing
straight
in
line
these
is,
shit.
Biff?
Absolutely, Blue.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Do you understand that there are two separate straight lines?
Is that
understand
straight
that?
line? Is LIGO straight?
Do you understand
Well,
that there are
From
two,
the
one
end
arm
station
is.
to the
Two
corner
straight
station,
lines.
is that a straight line? The one
you
that he's
understand
marked
that?
Individual
horizontal.
arms are straight,
Is
yeah.
that a straight line, Blue?
the one? Yeah, it's straight. Yes.
Okay.
It's not level.
Jezza, can we go
So
back
he
to
does have
Lindsay?
two tangent points on it.
Yeah, okay, Jezza.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
No, he does
Certainly
not.
looks like he's got a tangent point at the corner station.
It looks to me like he's got a tangent point at one end of each of the two straight lines. They're not shared. They're not common
corner
lines.
station is shared, Blue.
They're not. No, Bev. The two lines are at 90 degrees to each other. They share that point.
Yeah.
That's
Where at that point that you have,
that's effectively
Effie
an
Dogma
intersection.
has put another tangent point. It's okay to
For
say
the second line, yes.
mistake, Blue.
What's wrong with that? He's got a second tangent point because the second line is continuing to rise in elevation.
It's the same straight line, Blue.
It's not the same straight line, Bev.
It is. It
No.
is.
How can are you really going to try to say that the two lines
The end
intersecting at
station
90,
and the corner
90
station are
degrees
a
are the same
straight
line?
line.
Are you really trying to tell me that two lines intersecting at 90 degrees
corner
are the
station
same line?
He's not going to let him
It's
finish
the
it then.
same straight line,
No,
Blue.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Do it,
That's
say it again,
interesting,
Blue.
You know something about geometry apparently that I don't know. I didn't realize a line could make a 90-degree turn like that.
No, the 2 points of that straight line are you have an end station, and where's the other end point of that straight line, Blue?
At
I'm
the
sorry,
corner
say that again?
station.
The corner
That you
station.
have one that's called end station. 1310 end
No, that's
station.
the corner station.
Yeah.
You see that in the top
If you
picture?
want to put it that way.
Yeah, you got it. One
Right,
on
so
the
that's
other end
the
at the bottom,
start
on the
start
bottom.
point
Right.
of that line. Where's
Okay, if you want
the other
if you want it to
end
be.
point of that line, Blue.
If you want it to be, that can be the start point. The center could be the start point if you wanted it to be too. Just makes it harder.
Of the
to
line
look
in
at.
his picture that has tangent on it, Blue.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to call it a tangent at that point.
Where's
Then it
the
would not be
other
that.
end of that straight line? Where's the other point that we could say? Because it's a straight line, we just need 2 points. One's called end station. Where's the other?
At the corner station. Where's the start
Corner
of the
point.
next line?
Corner station. Right,
Yeah,
where
corner
there's a
station.
tangent.
That's the tangent for the other arm.
No, it's the same. That's the other end of that straight line, Blue. You've just
No,
said
that's
it.
the beginning of the other arm, Biv. It's both the
end
end
of
of
the
one.
line.
There's only one line.
That's the beginning
Line.
of the other line.
There's 2 lines, Bev.
Where you
that's-
have a tangent point, Blue.
Yeah, for the second arm. Not for the first arm.
It's
for
the
second
end
arm.
of the first line as well, isn't it?
And yes, it is, Biv. Certainly
So
is.
you do admit to having a tangent point.
I was
at
yelling
both
through my
ends
microphone
of
when
that straight
I was just
line.
listening to
No,
it.
I
to
do
Bev.
not. I admit
No,
to having
sorry,
a tangent.
Effie Dogma has obviously
I mean-
drawn a
No.
tangent point at both ends
I
of a
don't
straight
believe. I
line.
don't
it
believe
with
Effie Dogma
both
would
lines.
agree
I'm
with
going to have to
Biv.
pause it, Alan, because we can hardly hear you. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm going to say you could, if you chose to, build it so that both tubes had their tangent point at the point where the tubes intersect, but you don't have to.
No, and the fact is that's not what they did at all. If you really want to know where the
Yeah.
tangent for that plane that is formed by those two arms, it's somewhere out there in the middle of that triangle.
Yeah,
They say that.
and I'm sure much of the choice of where they placed it and how they built it would be down to a combination of local geography and geology.
What Bev is trying to do is get away from the fact that the elevations do not form a straight line. When you plot those elevations, you get something quite different. You get the center point missing the straight line by about 1 foot, which is exactly what happens over 1.25 miles.
Yeah, I
At 8
posted
inches per mile squared. That's what will happen.
I posted a screenshot from your video in the text chat when I was listening to it. I don't know if you can see it. You'll be able to see it later on.
Yeah, that's Bill's game right now. He's trying desperately to stay away from the discussion about why those elevations why those are not collinear points. Right. When you draw them as elevations above a straight line, they are not collinear. Right. When you draw them as elevations above a curve, a circle with a radius of 3,954 miles forms a perfect straight line.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you building this thing with two arms that point up in the air at 45 degrees, is there?
No, you could do this.
Apart from the fact that building them 4,000 meters long would be bloody difficult.
Yes.
I don't think we've ever built anything that tall. No.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying we could. I'm saying there's nothing in the physics of how the interferometer works that requires it to be orientated.
I don't think there's.
Surface of the Earth.
I don't think there is. But would it matter, Paul? I don't know.
No, just as long as the two arms are at 90 degrees to each other. That's all that matters.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Of course, they built them, horizontally on fairly level ground, to to make the job easy. You're right. Yeah, they could have been canted up at 45 degrees, but why would you? Talk about making life hard for yourself.
I think it changed about this point onward too. I forget what happened up this end of the video.
There's no problem with a tangent plane.
Yeah, it's the horizontal plane we're talking about, Blue. Don't get your words mixed up. You know that the horizontal plane's gone, don't you? It's disappeared, and along with it, you're going to have to lose the vertical plane too.
No,
and it's going to be tough.
I don't think you know what you're implying here, Biff.
No, you don't.
I think you're making and have been making the wrong assumption all along that there's only one horizontal plane, and that's not true.
No, I just say all horizontal planes are parallel.
Every point has a different horizontal plane. Every point on the ellipsoid has a different horizontal plane, which is not parallel with any other plane.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to go like antipodal
Bev's
or
thinking
something.
He didn't come in.
Yeah, unless you want to apply the Euclidean rules to your circular reasoning.
No, there's nothing.
Put a tangent point at each end of the diameter of the imagined fucking sphere that you've got. Then they would be parallel, wouldn't they? But they're the only ones because
that's the only ones that would be.
Blue, have lost horizontal planes on your globe model.
No, we haven't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have.
No, we have not.
Yeah. Yeah, because you establish one perpendicular to a horizontal plane, and guess what? It's vertical. But the problem is to have a horizontal plane, all of the perpendiculars to that plane will be parallel, like the mathematical description of it.
The mathematical description of it Hey, Bev, the mathematical description of it is absolutely as you say. All verticals on that horizontal plane are parallel to each other. The problem is there's only one vertical on that plane which conforms to the gravity vector, and that's the one at the point of tangency.
That's why you can't have horizontal planes on your globe model.
Sure we can. It's a different horizontal plane.
Posted. It's posted in the chat.
Yeah. Have a look at what Doofus posted. That shows it to you.
Let's see. Let's have a look.
See, Bev's insistent that you start with a horizontal plane first.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's what the
Which, of
little
course, you
box
don't.
at the angle is for.
The right angle.
That's a right angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a right angle right there.
So that
At the point of
horizontal
tangency.
line, all of the perpendiculars to that horizontal line, what will they be?
They're just
Well, you have to make a
perpendicular
new
to that
reference
line.
if you're going to change which vertical you're using.
What would you call them? All the perpendiculars to that horizontal line that you've drawn on there.
I would call them plumb.
Well, they wouldn't be
Would ya?
in this case.
Not
One's vertical though, isn't it?
No. When we move to another point, we've got another plumb line.
No. Or on that horizontal line.
Yeah, how would you do that?
What would you call the perpendicular to a
What
horizontal
instrument would you
line?
use? That's an imaginary line. Now, what instrument are you going to use to establish
A horizontal
these
plane. I'd
verticals?
use a level. Like
Well, it won't work.
the tool for establishing horizontal planes.
Yeah, and it won't work. You can't use a level.
What do you mean it won't work?
You can't move away from the point of tangency and still have a vertical
At the tangent,
that is
you can
perpendicular
produce
to
a
that
level.
original horizontal line, Beth.
So
But only at the
perpendicular to that horizontal line, you wouldn't say is vertical.
Only
Would be
at
at
one
one
point.
point.
Or all points along the line, it's a line.
No.
Yeah, that's why you say
What are you
you
gonna
have to
use to
deny the
establish them, Bev?
geometric, mathematical
What do you-
reality to the issue.
Yeah.
But what are you going to use to establish the other verticals that are also on perpendicular to that same horizontal
Perpendicular.
line?
Do you not
Right,
know
what
how
tool
to
would you
establish
use
a
to do it?
perpendicular in geometry?
What tool would you use to do it, though, Bev?
A compass.
Okay, so now you have your one horizontal reference, and you have a whole
There's
bunch
a
of
couple.
lines
One
which
line,
are perpendicular to
that
that
you're
one
gonna call
horizontal line.
Yep.
So then, when you go out and check plumb against those horizontal or those vertical, well, you were calling them verticals, those lines that are perpendicular to your horizontal line that you established far away from you, you'll find out that that's off plumb.
Oh, well, let's use that because we're using tools in reality that establish a horizontal plane of reference, right? And all perpendiculars, we know geometrically, all perpendiculars to a plane will be parallel, right? That's a fact.
Yeah, a
we
plane.
know that, right? We can't get around that. It's proved within geometry, right? So
Then you're
if we
assuming
can
all
get
of
a
those are
tool,
vertical.
if we can get a tool in reality that establishes a horizontal plane, like I said, horizontal planes are only available in reality, not on the globe model. But so we get a tool that establishes a horizontal plane,
So
and
full of
then
shit.
what we do is we make perpendiculars to that horizontal plane.
You don't have an instrument that can do that.
Right? Will they
Nah.
be perpendicular to that plane?
No, you don't have a.
Yeah, like
an
how they
instrument
close
that
the
can do
thing,
that.
Perpendiculars
we
to
can
the
have a
plane
tool to do
won't be
that.
perpendicular to the plane, is what
Oh,
you're
to
saying.
to the plane, yes, they would be, but you don't have an instrument that you can do that with, Beth.
What, to make perpendiculars
If you move
to a
it-
horizontal plane?
You're saying you're going to use what, a level?
What, to establish a perpendicular to a horizontal
You
plane?
say you've got one
Let me
vertical.
think. Is
You've
there a
got-
tool?
You say you've got one vertical there in the center that is perpendicular to that horizontal line.
Is there a
You
tool
that
said
plumb-
that
compass,
that
I think you
vertical
meant
line.
protractor.
vertical
perpendicular
line
to
is
a
a plumb line.
horizontal plane?
Now, what are you going to, if you move off of that point, what instrument are you going to use? Remember, this horizontal line you're talking about is just a
horizontal
visual
plane.
thing, or a horizontal plane. That's just a visual thing, right? There's
Well,
no
yeah,
actual
it's pretty
plane
visual.
out there.
If
We
you
established
use
that. I mean, I showed
autoletters,
you that you
very
can't call up
visual.
Amazon and order a plane. Okay, so we know
You
it's
can have
just
a
an
water
imaginary
level
thing.
establishes
Right.
a horizontal plane.
They would get one off eBay.
Yes, it does.
Well, the two ends of it can define a plane. I'll give you that. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
so
you
anywhere along that horizontal plane, you could get a perpendicular to it, right?
Not to the surface.
Like at each end, for instance.
No, just to that plane,
Just inside,
that imaginary
just
plane.
inside of
the only point that's
horizontal
perpendicular using a plumb bob or a level. The only point along that line that is actually perpendicular is at the center point between the two endpoints.
It's a straight line, though, Blue. You can have perpendicular anywhere along a straight line.
You don't have anything to do it
with. If you want to take a protractor out there against your established horizontal that you have between the water level, if you want to take a protractor out there between,
I'm not taking anything out there.
Oh, okay, hold on. So if you want to take,
is this what you're doing?
I'll finish what I'm saying. Thank you.
Okay.
If you want to take a compass or protractor or whatever out there between those two endpoints, that horizontal line that you're establishing with that water level, and establish perpendiculars at any arbitrary point in between that water level, and then say you have a sufficiently large water level, which is going to be like over a few miles, you would have, at some point along there, you'd be able to find out that some of those things that are 90 degree to that line aren't actually plumb, that a plumb doesn't agree with the direction that they are.
That is right.
We're just talking about, well, I think you might get confused earlier when I said a compass. I was talking geometrically and, you know, the drawing implement that Blue was talking about. You construct a Vesica Pisces to the 2 points and then you form the perpendicular.
Yeah. Compass? A compass?
you missed the part earlier where Bill said he didn't know how to bisect a line.
Oh yeah.
That was funny. So I schooled him on how you use a compass, and just set it a little past the center point and strike 2 arcs and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's the first thing that you ever learn in mechanical drawing class.
Yeah.
But I did that just to stir him up, and now he's pissed. he's going to try to prove now that he actually knows how to do it. That's funny.
You're not going to do that out there in reality when you have the water level out there.
Well, you have 2 tools, don't you? You have a tool called a level that establishes a horizontal plane of reference, and you have a tool called a plumb bob that establishes a vertical reference. Now, those 2 are perpendicular to each other. Always.
At a point.
Everywhere.
At one point.
Not a point.
No,
anywhere.
Not everywhere. No, only one point.
Yeah.
No,
anywhere.
You can say no all you want to.
Always.
No.
This is anywhere, always.
No, only
situation.
1 point.
Yeah.
Only
They
at
are
the point you
always
got that level set up.
perpendicular. Vertical and
point.
horizontal and level and plumb are always perpendicular.
Vertical and
But
horizontal.
you think that the water level establishes a horizontal line, that horizontal reference
Horizontal
is valid for any
plane.
point in between those 2. Okay.
Horizontal plane.
But you're thinking that horizontal is valid at any point in between those 2 endpoints,
Straight
which
line
is
with
an assertion on your
slope.
part.
A horizontal is a straight line with 0 slope.
Right. You're assuming
And a horizontal
that
plane
horizontal reference
is a
that
plane.
you're
with
assuming
0
that
slope.
horizontal reference is valid at all points in between the 2 ends of the water level. That's an assumption on your
It's a
part.
horizontal plane. The water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Now, when you know how the horizontal plane works and the water level, you can just move it around to wherever you want. It would be on the same horizontal plane.
It actually won't.
Guaranteed.
Nope. I guarantee you it will not.
I'm just going off what I know from surveying and a horizontal
I
plane.
don't think he knows what he thinks he does.
Which is your baseline.
What he
I'll
knows
go off
from
what I know about
surveying.
surveying. It's in the chat now.
That's what you know.
Oh dear.
So see that horizontal line you've got there has 0 slope.
Okay.
Is that well, you've got mean sea level? Is that the water you've got there on that slope on the side?
Yeah, that's water.
Like dropping down to the. You sure? I mean, like that looks like
drawing's not
that's
the
not
scale,
flowing out
Biff.
of that rock, is it? Is that like a tap rock?
It's not flowing, Bev. Is that a gravitational leak potential?
That's definitely going down. Yeah. See, the horizontal line has zero slope, right? Then that water's definitely got a slope to it.
Down in this image is indicated by the vertical line, which they've highlighted in the center. But there's this additional red dashed line.
Vertical
that's
goes
also
up
in the
and down,
direction
right?
of down. That is also a vertical line.
Vertical goes up. No.
And that's how it works, Biff.
Yeah, it is.
No.
That's real. That's
no, you see,
reality.
that's why you can't, because you can't have that one. That one wouldn't be perpendicular to the horizontal, would it?
It's perpendicular to another horizontal. That's why.
So that would mean that it cannot be a vertical, at least mathematically.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
No, it is.
You've just got a different horizontal.
Yeah, down is in the direction that things fall.
Yep.
Yeah, but perpendicular is at right angles.
That's right. And every time
that
you move,
would be
you have a different
perpendicular to that horizontal, would it?
And every time you move, you have a different
that's
horizontal
why they put the little
plane.
box in the corner there,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's perpendicular to the level surface.
That's good. Now everybody can see why the globe model cannot have a horizontal plane. You just don't have it.
No, it has more than one. It doesn't mean it has zero if it has more than one.
Yeah. Well, in reality, most people know that horizontal planes are all parallel.
That's your assertion.
They don't.
Well, I'm saying that's what I understand anyway. Mathematically,
you're wrong.
Provable within maths.
Oh, what type of mathematics you
I'll
talking
just go
about
with the
there?
mathematical description of horizontal.
Don't go with OSUK then. You're going to say you're going to disagree with OSUK.
Mathematics is a higher power for me.
Well, mathematics is better than OSUK. That's fine.
Yeah, the proofs within geometry and mathematics. Yeah.
Oh my God, Bev.
Yeah. Are you going to deny the mathematical understanding of a horizontal having zero slope?
I'm going to go with what's measurable, Bev. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. So you think horizontal planes being parallel is measurable, is it?
I'm happy to take
I think that they are not parallel with one another at different locations.
I'm happy to take the Ordnance Survey word for it.
Okay. Intersecting
I'll take OSUK's word for it.
Are you going with intersecting horizontal planes then?
Yeah, I'm going to go with OSUK's word for it.
Yeah, they're good enough for me.
Could you put 2 tangent points on a horizontal line?
No.
No, because as far as I've been aware of this conversation, nobody has done that, including F.E. Dogma.
F.E. Dogma definitely did. He labelled it horizontal and put a tangent point on each end of the line.
No, he didn't.
Definitely did.
It wasn't on each end of the line. There was a tangent point for one horizontal on one end of one line. Then another line that started at the same point as the other line ended also had a tangent point.
And it's not a continuation of the same line.
It is. It's the same line.
2 individual lines.
Definitely.
It's 2 separate
The corner
lines.
point is shared.
Yeah, and the
There
tangent
again, he said it's the
that is
same line.
at that corner point is a tangent for only the second line, not the first line.
Right. It's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's crystal clear.
So someone is arguing that a 90-degree angle forms a straight line now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that.
I got my
I'd
stuff
just say
removed
that
for saying that.
I wouldn't say
corner
that.
point is part of the same straight line.
That's not a
I don't
straight
know how
line.
you guys can detach it to a different line.
How can you have a corner on a straight line?
Yeah, how does that work?
How does what
Which
work?
which
How
book
can
of
you have a
Euclid?
corner on a straight
We'll
line?
have like A, B,
Bill,
C,
Bill,
3
Bill.
coplanar points.
Bill,
Point B is shared from
Which book of-
AB and
Bev,
BC.
Bev,
Which
B
book of
belongs
Euclid?
on both of those lines.
Which book of
The lines
Euclid
are
can I
not
go
collinear.
to find a straight line with a 90-degree turn in it? Where do I
A.
find that in Euclid?
B,
Huh?
B. Should we label them all for you, B? Blue.
You can,
So
you can
he-
label them, but
This
they're
is what
not
he does. He just
collinear
ignores you.
because
He
they're
doesn't want to
90-degree
hear what you've got
angle.
to say, so
No,
just
but
ignores
A
you.
and B are 2 points on the same straight line. Yes.
A and B
One
form
straight
a straight
line.
line. B and C form a straight line.
Absolutely. Let me.
But A,
I'll
B,
have
C
the
isn't a straight
obvious
line.
Right.
That's right.
AB, that's one line. BC, that's another line. Point A is a tangent for line
But
AB.
we're only talking about
Point
A
B
and
is
B.
a tangent for line. I was almost done. Point A is the tangent for line AB. Point B
Would be
is a
more
tangent for
CD,
line
actually.
BC.
It'd be AB
Point B
and
is not a
CD.
tangent for line AB.
Okay, I'll do it.
It doesn't really get much clearer.
No. Very simple.
Oh, and one more thing worth mentioning, Bev. It's not necessary to say 3 coplanar points because, as all of us are aware, at least I hope, 3 points uniquely defines any plane, or one plane. So when you say 3 coplanar points, you're really just saying 3 points. You don't have to use the word coplanar anymore.
No.
They have to be
Well,
coplanar.
if 3 points are defining a plane, they cannot be collinear.
And any 3 points form a plane.
Right. If
Doesn't
they're
mean that it's
uniquely
horizontal.
identifying a plane, they cannot be collinear.
No, three collinear points do not do not define a plane.
Is there a tangent
yeah.
point at B?
Well, it defines an
In-
infinite number of planes.
In
I guess.
F.E.
Right.
Dogma's
That's the
picture,
problem,
is
yeah.
there a tangent point at B?
Yeah, for BC, there is, yes.
But
Yeah.
AB also has B in it, doesn't it?
I don't care.
Yeah, B is not a tangent point for line AB.
Listen, all right, line A.
B does have a tangent point at it in
there's
F.E.
actually-
Dogma's drawing.
There's actually 4 points, Biff. AB, then CD.
Yeah,
That's what you're
that's
missing.
what I think. That's the way I thought.
Where's
of it.
D?
Where's D?
Yeah.
I'm defining the start and end of each line. You
Yeah,
want to make them, you
AB
want to make
and
them, you want to
BC,
make them the
Blue.
same. You
Where's
want to make
D?
them the same at the middle, but
Where's D, Blue?
huh? At the other
Where's
end
D?
of the second line.
He's about to tell you, Bev. Jeez.
Go on.
I'm defining the start and end points of 2 separate lines that are 90 degrees to each other. The first line, we'll call it line 1. As a starting point, we'll call A, and an ending point that we call B. The second line, which we'll call line 2, imagine that, has a starting point that we'll call C, and an ending point we'll call D.
No, it's BC is the second line.
I didn't. I'm defining it the way I want to define it, Bev. They're
You're
2
defining
separate lines.
CD. It doesn't belong there. It's not on the triangle.
Who said it's a?
Just imagined another line somewhere else.
No,
We're
I
talking
didn't.
about A,
They
B,
are 2
C.
separate lines. We've gone over this 100
No,
times already.
B is shared.
They're
of the
2 separate lines.
You made another line so you could
No,
do
I
away
didn't
with
make
B.
another line.
Blue. Yes, you did.
There always was another line, Bev. It's not
Where?
the same line.
Show us. Where's the line?
There are 2 lines. Even in
lines,
your
Bev.
nomenclature, A, B, and BC are still 2 separate lines.
That's right.
B is shared.
I don't
Great,
care.
but they're still 2 separate lines, Bev.
A, B are 2 points. C is an other point. You have, or F.E. Dogma has, a tangent point at A and a tangent point at B. 2 tangent points on the same straight line, A, B.
Bev, I'm sure you, being the geometry master, are aware that a tangent point is valid for a given line. So, which line is the tangent point at B valid for?
Are you calling it a tangent line? Would you call that line
The point,
AB?
tangency, valid for a line.
Yeah, the line AB.
No.
Yeah, the line.
The
That's
tangent
what
at
the line
B
we're
is
talking
defined
about.
to
The
be a
line
tangent for
AB.
line BC.
Tangent
It's also-
point at B.
Semantics.
And the tangent point at A. 2 tangent points. Those 2 points also define a line. The line AB.
The tangent point at A, Bev, is particular to which line? Use your nomenclature.
AB.
AB, okay.
Yeah.
The tangent point at B is particular to which line, Biff?
Well, B is on the line AB also.
Is it a tangent?
If there's if you
He knows the
Yes,
answer. I think he's
point.
just avoiding it.
B,
No,
then
wait,
yes,
answer
there
my
is a
question.
tangent
Answer
point
my
at B.
question. Answer my question. Line AB, is that tangent at point B?
Yeah, he has drawn a tangent point at B, yes.
Oh, no, he didn't. He did not draw a tangent point for line AB at point B. He drew it at point A.
He drew a tangent point at point B.
At point A, he
did
drew
like
a tangent
an arrow
point for line
pointing to it.
AB. He drew a tangent point at point B for line BC.
So if you went backwards, you could double up on the B and it would be the same way.
Oh, if you went backwards.
To me, it looks like the AB line has the tangent at point A. I mean,
Of
it
course.
says that in the graph there. It's 529 feet. Tangent.
Yeah.
No, that's the tangent point there. So why would you say that it's on B?
Because he's put tangent point at B as well at the corner station. That's why
line.
our whole point you were meant to be coming and explaining it. F.E. Dogma has put two tangent points on the same straight line.
No, he did.
Oh my god.
He's
so stuck he doesn't know what to
Why
do.
does it say in the AB line? Why does it say tangent at A?
And not at B. Curious.
It does say on the one underneath he's put tangent point at B.
That's the other line.
Yeah,
The
or
line
the
BC
BC line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, do you think he could put a line CB and put another tangent point at C?
No.
Well, could have if that was actually how it was built.
Yeah.
And also could he do BA and put a tangent point at B on that one as well? Sure.
Well, two
So
total
horizontal is tangent to point B, then it is. A different kind of line, but still.
Yeah. So you could have three tangent points, A,
Not
B,
two.
Not on
and
the
C,
same line.
if you wanted to, as long as you broke them up into lines.
Well, yeah, the tangent is line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have vertical, then you have a 90 degrees to that, then you have a horizontal line.
Yeah. Could you have a tangent point from C to A, and from A to C?
C to A.
Yeah.
If there's a line from C to A and you make it horizontal in reference to the vertical at C, then sure, it's tangent to C.
So you could use the first tangent at A that goes from A to B to also use that as the tangent for A to C.
No.
Or would it be a new tangent at A?
You could, in theory, if the elevations matched up correctly.
Yeah. The elevations wouldn't be the same they're on this graph.
Right, because we know that
Wouldn't be tangent.
from the elevation data that we're given, that line AB, the elevations from a reference altitude is increasing all the way toward that corner point, and then it's increasing again as it's going along the other arm. So point C is quite a bit higher in altitude above a reference surface than point A. If it's coming back to that point, it might, just might be that point A is tangent for both AB and AC.
Nice. And
Of course,
point
I don't
B,
have the measurements to verify that.
the tangent point for B could be tangent for BC and BA.
No,
No.
because it's defined, the tangent point is defined to be tangent for the line BC. Again, tangent points are defined for a line.
Not at each end of the line.
You can't
It's
have
not defined to be tangent for all lines that reach that point.
We do have the understanding of what a tangent is, right?
I think he asks us that question because he.
Oh, good. That's what we.
I think he asks us that question in the sense of, I don't think I know what a tangent is, so I'll just ask. We do have to understand what a tangent is.
That's essentially what he said. I don't have a clue. I hope you guys know, because that's sure as
how long we got for this? Oh, we can finish off a couple of minutes.
We thought too.
And the line AB has a tangent point at point A, and the line BC has a tangent point at B.
Because, as you explained,
as has been mentioned several times, there are two separate lines here.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. You're not understanding that those are two separate lines. That's not the same line.
Just 3 coplanar points.
Again, all 3 points are coplanar. Saying coplanar when you say 3 points is pointless. Point.
He's stuck for words, is he?
Yeah, that's the problem. We're talking about two separate lines.
Yeah, you've been a great help, Blue.
Well, I hope so. It's really quite simple.
Multiple tangent points.
Nope.
It's not.
It is.
You can keep saying that, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
F.E. Dogman never
he will
said
keep
it.
saying
I never said it. Nobody else ever said it. Just
Drew
you.
it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. How can you do
Because
that?
when I define a tangent line, it has a point because it's a tangent line. It has one point where it crosses the curve that I'm drawing that tangent line for. That point is unique to the line which I am defining to be that tangent line. If I have a point which has a tangent for a line that's going away from it in one direction, it isn't suddenly a tangent point for another line that's going in another direction.
Yeah, he's just drawing circles at the beginning of lines, isn't he? Pretty obvious. I can see what he's doing.
Yeah, what's the tangent point of a circle,
at the beginning?
It's just
Tangent point of what?
Just a way to represent the drop.
Just
That's
because
all.
he's drawing a circle.
It's a way to represent the drop, Bev. That's all.
Yeah, he's showing you the equal altitude surface. That's what the circle is in this case.
Yep.
Even altitude.
Yeah.
That's
even elevation. Even elevation. The circle is all the same elevation.
At even altitude, I'm pretty sure I've read somewhere that that's a horizontal condition.
That's what we call level, Bev.
It'll just been a dictionary or something somewhere.
That's what we call level.
Horizontal condition, I think it was.
If we play the dictionary game, I can point you right.
He's
to the
got a horizontal condition.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start the dictionary game right now.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying even altitude.
I think someone sometimes said that
Above the surface, so that would definitely not be a tangent, right?
I remember someone saying that the horizontal has nothing to do with the ground beneath it.
It hasn't got anything to do with the ground beneath it. Absolutely.
So where do you get the altitude for your horizontal being equal altitude?
Even.
Yeah, where do you get the altitude from? From the surface.
It just says even.
Nothing to do. Even altitude.
Yeah, even.
I'm just kidding.
Altitude in relation to what?
He's just realised he's dug himself another hole.
Yeah.
That's why he's now ignoring altitude.
How do you know that
he
it's
has
even?
to.
Because that's what the water level.
The dictionary
does.
says.
Do you not know what even is? No slope.
Even altitude, yeah.
See?
Would be no slope.
Don't touch altitude with a 10-foot pole now, because he knows what he's done. So he's not stupid. This is a game he's playing.
What's your zero?
Yep.
Yeah, you said even altitude.
Yeah,
And
a horizontal. Let's call it horizontal then, right? A horizontal has zero slope.
Get away
So
from altitude.
I'd say
oh dear,
that
I've made a
horizontal
mistake.
has an even altitude, not changing.
Slope. Oh, even altitude in relation to what?
Yeah, to what?
Horizontal.
In relation to horizontal?
Yeah. Even altitude in relation to what?
Horizontal. Zero slope.
Word.
So you reference horizontal
now
to horizontal and say, the horizontal.
Because he knows he's goofed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Straight.
Fair enough.
Yeah. With zero slope.
I know it's horizontal because I take this other horizontal that I know it's horizontal because of horizontal.
Zero slope. Can you not hear me?
Unfortunately,
sure, yeah,
it's
a straight line with zero slope.
Yep. And altitude is totally relevant.
Well, would you not call it an incline? If you were losing altitude, would you be going down? Would you be going on a slope?
What do you mean losing altitude? In relation to what?
To the slope. Would you be going down? You do know what down and up is, right?
I know. Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
okay, what
the
is
thing
down?
What is your reference surface? Because if you assume
what
your
is
reference
down?
surface is flat, or you assume your reference surface is curved,
one point.
then you get two different answers.
You reference
right,
one
Bev?
point to start off with, and then you say the other point, is it higher or lower than that original 1 point?
You asked me what is down and up. I say down is the vector for gravity. What do you say down is?
Vertical.
What is
Vertical is
vertical?
the down part of a vertical.
How do you know what is down? You're saying it's vertical, okay? What is vertical then?
What is vertical is down, like a plumb bob, right? You get a string with a weight on the end.
Oh, we know what a plumb bob is.
Like down would be the point where the rock is.
You said down
up
is
would be the part where your hand is.
of the vertical.
And you could reference one to the other, down and up, vertical.
So you're saying down is vertical and vertical is down, and down is vertical and vertical is down. But what is down?
Up and down.
Okay, how do you know that?
How do I know vertical's up and down?
Yes.
Jesus, are you coming in to save Blue?
No, I said that. You asked me what is down. Said that's the
no, I
the
didn't
vector
ask
for gravity.
you what is down. That'd be fucking stupid.
You did.
Everybody knows what down is.
Yeah, it's gravity. What do you know down is? Do you accept gravity?
We're trying to
Okay,
establish a slope, right? So do you know what even altitude means with no point being higher nor lower than the other?
Trying to pivot.
It's level
You
over the surface of the Earth.
Okay.
Yep.
Zero slope. We call that in mathematics. We call that a horizontal. What with zero slope? Yeah. In mathematics, I'm just talking about that.
Where in mathematics do we call?
If you assume that there's
we don't.
Yeah, I'll finish it off there. We've come up to a time.
Yeah,
we've come to the point where violence is seeming an appealing option.
I tried to warn you.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't listen to it all, because no.
I don't know. Maybe I missed it that day or something, but I don't remember horizontal being defined mathematically.
No, it's a new one on me. Somebody give Alan a nudge.
Nudge. Need a phone.
I don't know. I'm telling you. We just heard from the flat Earth exalted geometer that horizontal is defined in mathematics. So
you heard it here first.
I got to look into that.
That might be defined as perpendicular to vertical. And what's vertical? That's perpendicular to horizontal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can keep going back and forward like that forever.
Round and round.
Congratulations.
Round and round.
We just built a propeller.
What's up? Yeah. Opposite to down. What's down? Opposite to up.
Yeah.
Are you still with us there, Alan?
Yes, I'm still with you. I am listening.
Well, you can
I
listen
don't
now
believe
because the painful, that painful bit's over.
Yeah, I think my brain is becoming smooth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And smoother by the minute.
Do we have a quiz?
We do. You want one? Right, okay. Let me give you a quiz.
Anything to get away from Bev.
Yeah. Here we go. Well, that should take your mind off, Bev.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let me find it. Oh, yeah, please. Sorry, I said that out loud, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
You did. All right. Quiz time.
That was too quick.
You want more?
You said that out loud.
There is a back arrow.
Giggle is the word that springs to mind. Oh, go on then.
Yes. Okay. All right, 10 questions. In a textbook, Fabrizio Benedetti explored theorized mechanisms of this phenomenon, such as top-down modulation of sensory and motor systems. What is this phenomenon? I'll be very surprised if anyone gets this from the first clue. But I'll be guaranteed you all get it from the last clue. This phenomenon was popularised after observing differences between soldiers in World War II and civilians in Massachusetts by Henry Beecher. What is this phenomenon? No? Okay, they start getting easier here. This phenomenon still occurs even when it's explicitly explained to people in open-label schemes. What is this phenomenon? Not PTSD, no. Not resonance, not herd mentality, no. A portmanteau of the word no and the name of this phenomenon has been theorised to cause many COVID vaccine adverse events and is a form of social learning. What is this phenomenon?
Ooh.
In double-blind research studies, this phenomenon is typically observed in the response of the control group. Ah, come on. Name this effect where subjects given a sham sugar pill might feel better.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was before.
Yes.
Oh, I've spelled it wrong.
That's the one. That's the one, Terry, even though you spelled it wrong. I know what you mean. But you were well and truly beaten by Jezza out there in the chat, who got placebo correct first. But there was also truth nerds who followed up with nocebo, which is the portmanteau word that I was describing in there. Yeah. So the placebo effect,
Placebo. I wonder if they're still going.
Yeah. Okay, question 2. This event was financed by young men with unlimited capital, Joel Rossman and John Roberts, although plans to charge an entrance fee were quickly dropped. What event was this?
No, not ringing any bells.
No, not ringing any bells. Okay. A summer-long event, often billed as the black version of this event, was organised by Tony Lawrence and was the subject of a 2021 documentary by Amir Thompson. What is this event? Not Glastonbury, Big Blue's come up with the answer, but he was beaten by Spooky Bedhair.
Yeah, I thought Spookies was right.
Yeah, Spooky is correct. It is indeed Woodstock, yes. Michael Wadley's documentary about this event popularised the idea that a lot of brown acid was used during it. Yeah. A group called the Hog Farm set up a free kitchen during this muddy event, which took place on Max Yazga's farm. Most people had already left this 3 days of peace and music by the time Jimi Hendrix had played the national anthem. Named this 1969 outdoor concert held in upstate New York, it was indeed Woodstock.
Yeah, a bit before my time.
Didn't they have a problem with the toilets?
Mate, at all of these events, there are problems with the toilets.
Yeah.
Yeah, even to this day, but I know when we used to do the Monsters of Rock at Donington, you basically didn't go for 2 or 3 days because you didn't want to. It was not pleasant.
I don't know why they had to change the name of that to Download, but
no, I don't. It's not the same.
It's still the same bands, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, question 3. This idea is the first thing that Al-Ghazali accuses philosophers of being unable to prove in The Incoherence of the Philosophers. What is this thing? What is this idea that they were unable to prove? One argument for this idea was attacked in a thought experiment about a perfect island by Gounod. What is this idea? Not 1 = 1, not identity. That argument for this idea focuses on the necessary properties of the greatest conceivable thing, and was put forth in the Proslogion by St. Anselm. What is this idea? Come on, internal chat. Have a go.
Got a clue about this sort of thing.
I don't know who all these people are.
Pascal's Wager asserts that it is in people's best interest to hold this position.
Oh, well, I know. I've heard of Pascal's Wager.
What's Pascal's Wager about?
Yeah, but he's wrong.
I've heard of Pascal's Wager. I didn't say I remember what it was.
Yeah, you got it right, Farmer's Boy and Alan. But you were beaten out there. Who got it on the first clue was Truth Nerds with the existence of God, or non-existence of God, whichever way you like to put it.
Which one?
Yeah. Both are equivalent.
Yeah.
This position, which is asserted by the ontological argument, is supported by the analogy of the watchmaker.
I've heard of that.
Philosophical position. Yeah, stating that there is a higher being rejected by atheists. It is, of course, the existence of God.
I'm sure we've had this question in a similar form before.
All gods are man-made.
Yeah, they are. Okay, question 4. Following the climax of this work, the narrator is stopped by the man on Putney Hill, who insists there isn't enough food for both of them in his land. What is this work?
I think I've read this one.
You think you've read it, or you don't?
No, I don't know. I'm fairly certain. Whatever this is, I haven't read it. I don't think it's in my.
Okay.
Don't think it's the sort of thing I read.
Okay.
I've probably heard of it when I find out what the answer is, but
yeah. The narrator of this book attacks the curate after he gives away their position with loud screaming. What is this work?
Damn, I should have gone for it on the first one after all.
You got it, Alan. You got it. That's the one. Yeah. The use of mass weapons called black smoke and heat ray follow the landing of an apparent meteor in this work that signals the arrival of tripodal ships.
I've even
That's
been
it.
to the place
You've
where
got
that
it now, Farmer's Boy.
yeah, I never read it.
Yeah, yeah. And Clive Wells got it correct out there in the Peanuts with
Yeah.
War of the Worlds. Yes.
I have even been to Horsell Common.
The central antagonists of this book are defeated after it's revealed their immune system isn't prepared for the bacterial life on Earth. Yeah. Now, in this H.G. Wells book describing a Martian invasion of London, it was in fact War of the Worlds, yes. And the American film version of it was shite.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry, but all the film versions of it have been shite.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Although the one with the one where they had the Sony Trinitron type red, green, and blue.
Oh yeah.
Thingies that they could see with. At least those red, white, and RGB things were funny to look at.
I think the Jeff Wayne musical version of it was pretty good.
With what's his name? The Richard Burton.
Richard Burton, David Essex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, I could just keep waiting for him to go, Broadsword calling Danny Boy. You think, oh shit, no, it's the wrong one.
Hey, that was the first album I ever bought with my own money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty good album, isn't it?
It is pretty decent.
I think they're doing it again in London at the moment, or about to.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been to the stage show, but
they're already answering. They're already answering the next question, so I better read a clue.
Hey, can't do that.
They're having a go at it. They're having a go at it anyway.
Yeah.
Some South African tribes believe the vampire Impundulu is able to control these things, and Velez would return to his water underworld after being struck with examples made of stone and wielded by Perrin. What are these things? Not dead bodies. No, not zombies. No. Okay. Similarly, one of these things, named the Vajra, was used to kill Vritra and was wielded by Indra. And one item related to these things has a notably short handle. What are these things? Not zombies, not mermaids, not bats. Not spears, no. In preparation for the war against the Titans, the Cyclopes forged these weapons for the leader of the Olympians, and the hammer Mjolnir allowed Thor to wield this weather phenomenon. What are these things? Not boomerangs, not flurfs, not daggers, not axes. That's correct, Alan. But you were beaten by
to
Farmer's
get
Boy.
that given certain things, oughtn't I?
Did I type it a bit quicker?
You typed it a bit quicker than Alan Farmer's Boy, yeah. And Terry was even slower, but he got it right. and the first person out in the Peanuts to get it is Jezza with lightning or lightning bolts. Yes.
There you go, Paul.
Yeah, but who said lightning bolts? People said lightning. I said lightning bolts.
I said lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Oh, you said lightning bolts.
Farmer's Boy said lightning bolts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, so did Alan. So, yeah. Name these weapons wielded by Zeus. Yeah, you're right. It's lightning bolts.
And I remembered it because I just happened to watch again the other day that clip from the last Thor film where he's fighting, turns out to be his sister, and he's getting his ass kicked, and she says, "What are you the god of?" Lightning, and then it kicks into Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song, which I think is one of the best scenes in the film I've seen in a long time. You know.
Yeah.
And oh dear, look at that. It's 5-3. Quali's about to start, and it's raining.
Okay, question 6.
I told you I was having your weather, Palmer.
Yep.
Yeah. In one story by this man, Gloria is nearly killed in a factory before being rescued by the title Robbie.
Gloria?
Who is this man?
Factory Robbie.
No.
It's
not the story I'm after, it's the man who
not
wrote
him,
it.
is it?
It is him, Farmer's Boy.
Yes.
Yes.
Eh?
Well,
Yeah.
I've read or got most of his works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Speedy repeatedly runs around a selenium pool for no apparent reason in one story by this man that appears in a collection narrated by Dr. Susan Calvin. Farmer's Boy's got it. I'll give you a few more clues. Harry Seldon invents the science of psychohistory in this man's Foundation trilogy. That should give it away.
They just done that recently as a TV series, didn't they?
Have they?
Foundation, yeah, it's on one of the other streaming services. I can't remember which one. It's not bad actually.
Yeah, we already watched a bit of that.
No, Alan.
It's a long time since I've read the books, but it's not bad.
Yeah. It's not Pratchett.
No, it's not Pratchett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Peanuts are getting it right out there. Yeah.
I don't think there's any more
One book by this man, includes requirements for certain things to protect their own existence and not to injure a human being. That should give it away. Yeah.
Yeah. That one.
Named this science fiction author who put forth the 3 laws of robotics in his short story collection, I, Robot. It was indeed, as was said by Spooky Bedhair first out there, followed up by S. Thurston II. It was Isaac Asimov.
Yeah,
it was originally on Apple TV, Foundation.
Who I think
they haven't made any more new episodes of that yet, I don't think.
No. I remember reading the Foundation trilogy when I was at primary school. I think I was either 8 or 9, and I was complaining to the teacher that the books we had to read at school were boring. And she said, "Oh, right, what are you reading?" Because we'd got the old-fashioned desks that you lift the lid up, and I pulled out one of Asimov's Foundation trilogy books. And she said, "Are you honestly reading that?" I said, "Yeah, it's brilliant." Don't get me wrong, I didn't understand half the concepts that are in there, but I thought it was incredible. I think like 8 or 9 years old. Because they're on the bookshelf at home, because Mum was into science fiction. I thought, that looks interesting. Yeah, you're reading bloody Janet and John books, and I'm reading Isaac Asimov, you know. Yeah.
Okay, question 7. Members of this organisation commonly used a dust-like substance called nitrophenyl pentadienyl, or HPPD, to track their enemies. Which organisation?
Dust like that.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll probably get this one on the second clue.
Okay.
Or the first one, Alan.
Alan.
So-called active measures were pursued by this organisation's first chief directorate. I'll give the other panel members a chance. Hey, this non-American agency employed Aldrich Ames and Robert Hansen.
Is it that one?
It's not Mossad. It is that one, Farmer's Boy. Yeah. And Jezza got it right out in the Peanuts first with the KGB. If you didn't get it from those clues, you would have got it from this one. Bulgarian writer Georgy Markov was poisoned by this organisation using a ricin pellet hidden inside an umbrella, and it grew out of the earlier NKVD.
Yeah, that was World War II era NKVD.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure though that Georgy Markov was actually poisoned by the Bulgarians on the behest of the KGB.
I would have got it with the last clue.
Because you need plausible deniability and all that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before leading their country, both Yuri Andropov and Vladimir Putin worked for this agency. You would have got it on that one, Terry.
Yeah, I would have got it on that one.
Yeah. And the last clue you would have definitely got it on.
Oh,
Name this chief intelligence agency of the Soviet Union.
I believe they're called, what are they now? Is it the FSO or something, I think? They're not called the KGB anymore, are they?
No.
I thought it was the FSS, but... Couldn't tell you what they stand for. Couldn't have told you what KGB stood for either.
I did look it up. It's pretty hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
Unless you speak Russian.
Yeah. The first ever Indian-born saint, Gonzalo Garcia, was one of 26 Christians who were crucified in this city in 1574.
No.
Which city?
Crucifixion's a doddle.
Yeah.
Get you out and there.
I'm Brian.
Milton Keynes?
I'm Brian, and so is my wife.
I tell you now, Milton Keynes didn't exist in 1574. It barely existed in 1974.
Did you just bash your keyboard, Alan, or is that an actual word?
Well, it's supposed to be an actual word.
It's not. It's not the right one anyway.
Okay, fair enough. But would you like me to say it then? If it's
yes, wrong? You could say it because I can't say it.
Seringapatam.
No, it's not that.
Oh, I think I've read that in one of the Sharps novels.
This city was the site.
Wellesley's.
Yeah. This city was the site where scientific information known as Dutch learning entered the country it is located in. What city? Not East End, not Calcutta.
Still not Milton Keynes.
No, it's not Milton Keynes. No. Because he returned to this city after a business trip, Tsutomu Yamaguchi became the only officially recognised double hibakusha.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, something happened to him twice. Not Kyoto, no. This city was the object of a mission where a device known as Fat Man was used 3 days after the best known mission of the Enola Gay.
Oh, it's the other one.
Not that one.
That's the other one.
Well, that's because I thought that was the answer to the previous question. It's that one. Yeah.
It's that one, yeah.
That's the other one.
Yeah, they're all getting it right now. Yeah.
It's one of them too.
That's right.
Well,
it is.
Yeah, he survived, Yeah,
he got blown up in Hiroshima, and so he went back to his home city and got blown up there again.
There as well, yeah.
Yeah. That'd suck.
Yeah.
Well, Japanese,
Yeah, there's no words for it really, is there?
No, there isn't really. Name this Japanese city where the second nuclear bomb was dropped after Hiroshima. It was, of course, Nagasaki.
And of course, neither of them were the primary targets, were they?
No.
When they set off the bomb, I can't remember which one it was, but it ended up being Hiroshima first. And then I think Nagasaki was also the secondary target. I think.
Yeah, neither of them were quite as optimal for the detonation that the Americans would have preferred.
No. And of course, on certain firebombing missions of Tokyo, they did more devastation in one bombing mission than they did with either of these. But the whole point was this was one bomb each.
One bomb, yeah.
And I think that was enough for the Japanese to go, do you know what? It's a fair cop. We will,
Yeah.
You know what Hirohito said right after the bomb went off in Hiroshima?
What?
He said, "What the fuck was that?"
That, yes. I wonder if he's going to give that answer or a proper one. What the? Yeah.
Oh, swear jar.
Description acceptable. Uncle Bill Wilson and Henry Bertie Bowers died during one of these events. What kind of events?
Who the hell are Uncle Bill Wilson and Henry Bertie Bowers?
Yeah. A journal covering one of these events notes the worst has happened, and that Lawrence Dates said, "I am just going outside and maybe sometime." What kind of event was this?
Yeah, I have heard of that quote.
Well, I know what that one was.
You should have heard of this.
Yeah, I've heard of that quote.
That's correct. That's a good enough description, Farmer's Boy. I'll
Thank
accept that. Yeah. I'll accept that too, Alan. Not a snowstorm. Not a blizzard. The quest and discovery were notable vehicles in these actions, and the death of Ernest Shackleton, after previously using the Endurance, marks the end of the heroic age of these things.
So
Come on, we covered Shackleton quite well, didn't we?
Yeah, I'll accept what Carl Edwards said there. Trip to the South Pole.
Ah.
Yeah.
I haven't got my answer yet.
You're still typing it, are you?
Yes.
Yeah. Shortly after discovering a Norwegian flag, Robert F. Scott perished during one of these actions, and Roald Amundsen led one of them. Yeah, one of these attempts to reach the southernmost place on the Earth. They are expeditions to Antarctica.
Oh, look at that. I got it wrong. Yeah. I said Antarctic exploration.
That's
the same thing.
I would have accepted that. Yeah. And the last question. A poem in this book describes micturations and rending thee in gobbleworts.
There you go. I'll just give you
a lot of the rings.
Yeah.
I'm not typing that all out. I'll give you.
I'll accept that, Farmer's Boy. I know what you mean.
That's not easy to type it all out.
So you have read this one?
Once or twice, yes. I'm due another reading, I think.
And I think I will accept Jez's answer as the right one for this one too, even though it's a shortened version. Yes, it is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's Vogon poetry.
Can I just say 42?
The worst poetry in the world.
Could I said 42? Would that have...
I would have probably accepted that too, Terry. Yeah. Yeah. I'll read the rest of the clues anyway. Digressions in this book describe a character who becomes obsessed with finding lost ballpoint pens, and one who thinks, oh no, not again.
That's all the Juniors.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It opens with the protagonist attempting to prevent his house from being destroyed.
Well, you've got to have bypasses.
Yeah. President Zaphod travels with Ford Prefect and his book's protagonist to Magrathea, using the improbability drive, and the title entity of this book urges Arthur Dent, don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic.
Yeah. Name this work of comic science fiction by Douglas Adams, suggesting that the answer to life, the universe, and everything is the number 42.
42, yeah.
Yeah. And it was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
See, the problem is that the question and the answer are mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
You can only know one or the other. You can't know both at the same time.
My question is, instead of trying to rebuild the computer, why didn't they just ask Marvin? Because, brain the size of a bloody planet.
I think in the end, I can't remember in which book it is, Marvin ends up being something like 6 times older than the known universe through accidents in time travel and everything else. I'm sure it's either 5 or 6 times older than the universe itself, And he says it all that time. Do you know what's never been replaced? And he's always complaining about them, the diodes down his left-hand side. He's just such a sad character,
Yeah.
Oh dear.
There you go.
Oh, thank you very much.
Today. Hope it wasn't too hard for you this time.
The start was like, oh God, here we go again, and it was like, oh, hang on a minute, I know some of these.
Yeah. I tried to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, a little bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read Hitchhikers for quite a while. So yeah, they're on me Kindle. Well, 5 of them are. The trilogy, because I didn't get the 6th one because it wasn't written by Douglas Adams. I might have to get it sometime and see how good it is, but.
Well, while I just grab a couple of videos.
Ooh, where have we got a video?
I don't know what's been out lately.
What Simon Dan's been doing as usual.
Everett Anderson, the Flurfer explains the sky. Was Coca-Cola really responsible for Santa's red suit? So I'll grab that.
Was Coca-Cola really responsible for the red Santa Claus? If there are any...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I thought I'd let it play out because that was the start of it anyway. What else? Major Mars update.
Oh yes, I saw that. I haven't watched that one yet.
Okay. He's probably got a couple dropped, so we'll just check. A 240 for another blue. Did someone steal the moon? Oh, I could only imagine what that. If that's what I think it'd be, without even watching that one. Video private conspiracy cats tune Mr. Baldy cats. Well, no, I don't know what that is.
Silly questions to ask. What was the first person trying to milk a cow trying to do?
What was the first person that was trying to help the cow? What were they doing?
Yeah.
I've heard that question before, but it's like, well, they would have seen calves suckling from cows and thinking, oh, okay.
Why do they call it getting your dog fixed if afterwards it doesn't work anymore? Can blind people see their dreams?
I don't see my dreams because my eyes are shut at the time.
What's Creaky want to know about where my Aussie's at?
I saw that and thought, what's he on about? But I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, but the time he has his bloody streams, I never get to watch it live. Did I see that one? Oh, that one. No, it's okay. That's only new. I got two Simons, had I? Oh no, I haven't. That's his mini one. Oh, that's conspiracy. Cats and Toon. Simon, the funniest flood of exploration I've ever seen. That up there. 1, 2, 3, 4 with three regulars and a quickie. I think that's nearly about it. Flat Earth Insane Blather from Everett, from that bloke.
Oh yeah, that is as well. That's quite an apt description.
Was neutron matter created here on Earth? Flat Earth Cretin challenges SpaceX.
Sounds like somebody's having a Grand Prix up the A149 at the minute.
Yeah.
Well, probably a motorbike. Sounds too high pitched to be a car.
Yeah, the car. Yeah, I mean they ain't very loud out here at the moment, but it's qualifying, so it's not like you've got a grid full of cars all going around together. I mean, it stopped raining now, but I mean they've got 3/4 of an hour yet, and looking out there, it could do anything.
How long does that go for? Earth's core is oscillating, but nobody knows why.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's another Anton one. Gee, it's a toss-up between that one and... Between that one and Mars Update. I think the Mars... I don't know, the Mars Update looks interesting as well. Which one, Peanut? I can only play one of them out of Anton. The Mars Update or Earth's Core. So I have to pick one of them. I haven't got time for both. There we go. Yep. I think I've grabbed enough. Alright, what have we got here? Spook said Lindsay. I didn't put Lindsay in that choice.
Oh dear. This
Okay,
woman
I've got
says,
3.
This woman says I made Jesus-shaped pancakes, but I burnt them. Am I going to hell?
Oh, okay.
No. I can say that with utter certainty. No, you're not.
Yeah. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 short ones and 3 longer ones. Okay, I've got
2 flats, 2 points, and a packet of gravel, please.
So I've got a Carl with the oscillations or vibrations. Okay. And don't worry about Spook's answer. Dora's got a Mars. Jessica's Lindsay. No, not Lindsay. And Jessica's core. Well, that's... So I've got 2 for cores and 2 for Mars. Either one or the other. 2 each. No. Geez, these peanuts make it hard. In a democracy, it'd be terrible for people voted like that.
You should operate the democracy as they do in Ankh-Morpork Pork in Discworld. It's one man, one vote. The patrician is the man, and he's got the vote.
Oh
dear. Jazz has gone 3 for Lindsay because I said 2 for the other.
There's something wrong with you. You're voting for Lindsay. I mean, come on. What is your major malfunction? Mind you, that'd probably been preferable to listening to Bev.
Oh, I had to play a little bit of it.
I know you did.
It's pretty obvious there's a whole world of dumb people out there because someone just asked, what animal is Sonic the Hedgehog?
Okay.
Well, he's not a giraffe.
A pig.
Sonic the pig. No.
No, okay.
That don't work.
Okay. It's
like the other one. What does WTF mean? Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What's that mean? I really shouldn't click on these websites of obscure foreign companies making resin models of obscure German tanks.
Oh no.
No, it's okay. I haven't ordered anything, but that's gone in the bookmarks. That's getting saved because it's like, oh, look at that, look at that.
I made a mistake the other day because I was trying to look up the range for my wheelchair.
Yeah.
My power chair, which is supposed to be 36 kilometers.
Right.
And it had a new battery pack less than about a year ago. And the other day I couldn't get. I got 15 kilometers, and the battery was basically effed.
Well, that's really not very impressive.
No, I know. So but in the process of investigating, I found that it was the medium option of wheelchairs that would suit me.
Right.
It was an off-roader, but it was still in the two-wheel drive, differential steering, cast-spring front wheel type wheelchairs.
Yeah.
But with big fat tires, big fat knobbly tires.
Oh dear.
And only about 12,000 quid.
Was that all?
But the best bit, seating options include Recaros.
Well, of course.
And I looked at it, I thought, yes, even if they weren't the best option, it's got to be the Recaros, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's got to be done.
Especially me being a Ford person of a certain age.
Correct. Yes, it's what's got to be Recaros. Christ, what's Paul found?
Every night during the school year, my son tells me he's doing homework on the family computer. Once in a while, I come down to review, but the screen comes up with www.bangbros.com. And it's a girl. Is this a homework site? It tells me to have a password each time, but I don't know it. Help, please.
It's a girl, and the website's called Bang Bros. Now,
Yeah.
how likely is it that your lad is studying? Yes. Homework?
No.
No, he's studying all right.
Oh, you bet your boots he's studying every inch. Yeah. Oh dear. Do they say how old the lad is? Yeah. Your son's watching porn. How naive are some people that even ask that question? I mean, you just look at that on the screen and go, "Yep, we know what you're watching."
Yeah.
It's when you end up having to ask your 14-year-old their recommendation for the best prawn sites.
Oh dear.
Sorry, the best free prawn sites.
Yes. You don't pay for it. Good grief.
Okay, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Sorry, you're in charge.
Yeah.
Okay. I was waiting to press play. That's what I was doing. I'll just play him.
Yeah.
I'll just play him in order. What I got here.
Fair enough.
Who we got first? Oh, Everett.
Oh yes, we've seen this Herbert before.
Yeah.
man, do I have a lie for you. There's one bigger than the US government. What if I have one that connects all of the governments all across the whole world through a treaty called the Antarctic Treaty? What if the biggest lie in the world is that we're not on a spinning ball?
Thank you. Yeah, I need a refill of this.
Do you have a prescription?
Well, no, but see, my doctor, my shrink, he gave me these, and they're samples of...
What if I were to tell you that every single government across the entire flat plane is conspiring to trick the entire world into thinking that we're on a spinning, revolving, orbiting ball chasing the sun at Mach 88? What if that's the biggest lie? No, actually, I know it is. I know it is.
Are you off your fucking meds or something?
Yes. But that isn't what this is about. Where is the curvature? Someone find it for me. I can't find it anywhere. Seriously, I've been looking for like 25 years. Can't find it.
It's okay, I understand. You're an idiot.
Come on, guys. Use your mind. Let's think. Would boats stick to the bottom of a ball? Whales? Cruise ships? The entire ocean? Because of gravity? What are you on?
We are no longer capable of such thinking.
Wait a minute, you're actually saying that you need someone dumber than you are?
You may have come to the right place.
All of these things prove the Earth is flat and stationary, and the luminaries above our head rotate around us. We don't orbit them. They flipped the script on you, buddy. Do you know how they made the ball? They took the flat Earth, took the North Pole, stuck it on the top of the ball in the center, and then wrapped it around and made Antarctica a continent.
Whoa! Any chance I could get some of that cold medicine to go?
Sure thing. No need, pal. First time's free.
I need you to pause right now and just think. Read and think. Read and think. And pause and think and then unpause. Yeah, smoke does... We're spinning 1,000 miles per hour? But the smoke just goes straight up.
What are you, retarded? Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, and look at that horizon right here. We're completely flat from the plane. Everyone's like, I could see the curve from the plane. Wow. You are really weird. Seriously, the windows are curved, man.
Shut up! Just shut up, you idiot!
You guys lost your mind. It is so blatantly, obviously flat.
Come on, man. Don't hold out on me like this.
Either he's off his meds or he's a really bad actor.
Yeah, one or t'other.
Or both.
A bad actor off his meds, yeah.
Meds.
Yeah.
We've got a Sirix. Hey, Sirix.
Orbit, then hurl y'all thousands of miles an hour towards it.
Ever since the emergence of the flat Earth claim about sextants, angles to celestial objects can only be taken with a flat baseline while using a sextant or any other angle measuring tool, meaning that the Earth has to be flat because we can't get elevation angles from a curved surface. Well, with this new knowledge, there's a few tests we can do to predict how high above the horizon the sun should be. Since we have a flat baseline, I can create a triangle using the sun, myself, and another person on Earth. The base of the triangle will be a 4,680 mile straight line between myself and Jose in Florida. And since the sun is closer to the Earth than we were told, roughly 4,000 miles, and directly above me at noon, from Jose's location, the sun should be 40 degrees above the horizon because, you know, trigonometry. Let's test this. Well, it looks like Flat Earth has failed again. And I thought for sure this flat baseline thing would absolutely kill the globe model. Well, unfortunately for Flat Earth, this is just another example showing that the math doesn't lie. Once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And please, check out the rest of my videos if you're interested. And as always, peace.
Pinpoint asteroids in orbit, then hurl y'all thousands of miles an hour towards it.
I'm not really watching these. I'm too busy doing stuff. I didn't even get that one.
What, B-balls that we just watched?
Yeah, I know. I was too busy typing something somewhere.
Oh, buggeration.
Any little ones watching today, then please send them to their rooms immediately, or at least come back later and watch when they're not around. Santa, the personification of joy, kindness, and more food than you can fit in your tiny little mouth. I have lost count of the amount of times I've seen or heard the popular misconception that it was Coca-Cola, the company Coca-Cola, who are responsible for Santa Claus's bright red suit. But it turns out that this Christmas fact is actually totally wrong. The whole thing started in the early 1930s, where illustrator Haddon Sundblom was hired by Coca-Cola to try and increase their winter sales. And he came up with a series of drawings to try and sell the drink, much like this one. Now, are we to believe that Santa was never depicted in the red and white suit with gold buttons, big white bushy beard and red and white hat before 1931? The answer is, of course, no. Here's an image of Santa from a 1902 edition of Pucks illustrated by the Australian Frank A. Nankville. This one, a Japanese illustration from 1914. This one, an 1868 advert for sugar plums in the US. Need I go on? Meanwhile, Coca-Cola reaped the rewards by using the modern day Santa in its advertising, as it still does to this day. So there we go. Next time someone comes out with the Christmas fact that Santa Claus has got a red suit all because of Coca-Cola, then you can tell them the real story. I've been Simon Dan. This has been another Misconception Mini, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe here, definitely click that one, 100% click that one, and then more videos there. I mean, click that one as well if you want. I mean, they're there, so you may as well click them. That one's quite good, but you know, equally that one too.
I think it might be semi-fair to say they were responsible for the popularization of it.
Yes, I think so. I mean, yeah, they didn't invent it, but they really sort of, you know,
pushed it
and put it out there and used it to stamp their brand. Yeah.
Clive, Santa should sue Coca-Cola for using his image without permission. Unfortunately, you can't do that if you're dead. So you can't libel a dead person.
Or an anthropomorphic personification.
Well,
try saying that when you're drunk.
He's not an anthropomorphic personification. That would be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Death is an anthropomorphic personification. I mean, Santa Claus, I suppose he is, because he's, you know, he's Christmas and all the rest of it, but it's all that bollocks.
Yeah, but yeah, he was supposed to be St. Nicholas, wasn't he? Who was supposed to be allegedly a real person.
Actually, he's the Hog Father.
Yeah, okay. Now, that's a thingy. What's it? Thingy. But
yes.
I drove all over town looking for the moon. Really?
Really?
Okay. Why'd you try the local shops? You weren't looking in the right places.
Driven all over town to look for the damn thing.
Hello, I'm MC Toon, and this video is by Dare Ick from TikTok, and I gotta say, I think I know his real name. But if you are drinking something hot, coffee, tea, some beverage, please put it down right now. Don't drink it. I don't want you spitting it out on the screen.
Okay, so I have an unbelievable update for you guys on the sun and the moon. You ready to see it? There's the sun, but when you look around, and I've driven all over town to look for the damn thing, but the moon disappeared.
I warned you.
It disappeared. And that ain't possible on a globe or a flat earth. It is nowhere to be found. I have literally driven all over town, and this damn thing is gone. It is gone, sun. No moon.
Somebody maybe should tell Derek that the moon sets, and about half of the day you cannot see it. And by day, I don't mean daytime. I mean 24 hours. He won't get it.
If that is not a glitch in the Matrix, I don't know what is. In 1 hour's time, the moon completely left the sky when it was directly above me an hour ago.
You can tell, because you can see his breath, that he doesn't live near the tropics. He's in Oregon. It's cold. The moon was not directly overhead.
You guys want to pretend like this world is material and not energetic, not a matrix, but then these glitches can't be explained on either model, and you guys don't see that. It is gone. Nowhere to be found. I drove everywhere. I noticed this about 15 minutes ago, and I've been driving around trying to find it. But it's gone. I'm going to show you behind the building so nobody thinks I'm trying to pull one over you. Are you guys ready to start looking for the truth? Are you ready to leave the globe model behind? Because this is impossible to have happened. The moon disappeared.
Really?
It just vanished.
What's wrong with him?
Stop doing heroin!
I don't know why he thought he needed to drive around town or go behind the building to check for the moon. He's very confused.
Where the hell isn't it?
That's not the only time that he's been confused about the moon. Here's another one.
Hey, globe earthers, I want to see you explain this one. We got the moon halfway out right here, and then we've got the sun out right here. Okay. So, globe earthers, explain why that shadow stays the same all day, while the sun and the moon both move. If the Earth is rotating and the moon is rotating around the Earth and the sun is stationary, as the location changes of the moon in correlation with the sun, that shadow will change. But it doesn't. It stays the same all day long because your theories are bull crap.
May I ask you a personal question?
All right.
Have you ever been tested for idiocy?
Yeah, Derek, the phases of the moon are not caused by the Earth's shadow. That would be eclipses, something you also can't explain for flat Earth. Sadly, it is a common misconception that phases are related to Earth casting a shadow on the moon. But Derek, if you are going to be debunking all of science and trying to be smarter than all scientists ever, you should at least get it right. I have another one from Derek I'll come back to later, but first, Chatbox Travels. All right, before Chatbox Travels, I know you're wondering, where did all this glorious hair come from? And why did Conspiracy Cats lose that smashing accent? He gave me this channel. He wasn't doing stuff on it anymore. He's over on the new channel, Culture Cats. Link in the description. Be sure to subscribe to him there. You may notice that there are still some space commas. I can't say space commas like cats can. So I have a voice actor that I specifically asked in a debate that I had with him. He thinks the Earth is concave, and he also thinks he's Jesus. Check that one out. With Sam Owen, he's doing the fill-in space comma when we get to it. How about a plan? Flying against the direction of the so-called Earth.
Space comma.
A plane flies 500 mph while the Earth spins over 1,000. Do the math.
Space comma.
Or the clouds as well wouldn't stand still whilst the Earth is spinning that fast.
Space comma.
Conservation momentum is taught to elementary school children sometime around 4th grade. Apparently John missed that day and every day since. Dennis Pierce wants to know who paid me. Well, since I write email filtering software, my employer pays me. I also get a little bit of money from YouTube. It's pretty nice for a hobby. When I was a kid, though, the old couple down the street would pay me every week to mow their lawn. $3. Do you know how many Pop Rocks you can get with that? Ridge Ox says, Cats looks well different with hair. Well, thanks. I'm glad you noticed. Now, as part of this new channel, NASA sent and actually installed a shed in the backyard. I didn't know why. They didn't tell me. I didn't get the memo. So I went and checked it out. I heard some noises.
Hello?
Bring it towards a central point. Or
Hello?
Invisible tentacles that go around the back of objects, applying a pressure, bringing it towards a central point.
Hello?
Chop, chop, run along.
Go.
It's nonsensical, absolute.
Running along.
Yeah, apparently I have to take care of Shed Rage High now. Well, it explains the badger carcasses I saw in the yard the other night. Yeah, so apparently Dell will be featured more in these videos. Awesome. So I have one more clip from Dare Ick, and he's going to try to explain some science.
So, you think the Michael Morley experiment disproved the ether, do you?
Hold on a second. Did he just say Michael Morley? It must have been a slip of the tongue.
All right, let's do that. So the Michael Morley experiment...
He did say it wrong twice. It's not Michael Morley. It's Michelson Morley. It's two people. Albert Michelson, Edward Morley. Clearly, he did not even read what he's about to try to explain.
So the Michael Morley experiment was an experiment that set out to measure the drag of the ether here on Earth. They were going to do so by shooting a light at a mirror and measuring the drag of the ether in correspondence to the spin of the Earth.
We are off to a bad start already. All right, he got one thing right. They were seeking to measure the drag of the ether, but it wasn't one mirror. There were actually 16 mirrors. The light was split into two separate paths using a prism and then recombined afterwards. And it wasn't really about the the rotation of the Earth. It was more about the orbit of the Earth around the sun. Small thing, but clearly he didn't even look at the diagram in the paper that he's trying to address.
So what did they find when they did this experiment? They found that the light did not move, that it actually landed exactly where it should if we're not moving. And instead of them deciding to look into the fact that maybe we're not moving, they came up with a downright insane explanation for this. An explanation that if you believe it, you have to throw all your common sense out the window. So what is this explanation, you ask? They literally say that the reason why the light lands in the same spot as it would if we were not moving is because as we move, we dilate and contract as we move faster than a bullet through space.
Oh, so many things that he gets wrong here. It's just painful. He said light did not move and then it landed where it should. That's not at all what was happening. It's a very clear indication. He didn't even look at the experiment. He said there was one mirror, there were 16 mirrors, two separate paths, and then the light was recombined on this plate, and you could see an interference pattern if the light took a different amount of time to go one path versus the other. The reason why this particular experiment came up with the results it had isn't because of the length contraction that he talked about. I'll get to that later. It's because light travels at the same rate in your reference frame, no matter how fast you are going. So if you're going in a car at 1,000 miles an hour and you turn on the headlights, the light doesn't go forward at the speed of light plus 1,000 miles an hour. It goes forward at the speed of light. It's non-intuitive, but it's a foundational part of the of relativity. And it's been thoroughly confirmed over the centuries since it was proposed. In the Michelson-Gale experiment, Kennedy Thorndike, Ives Stilwell, Pound-Repka, Havel-Keating in the Scout Rocket experiment, and several others. I have a short list on my website, mctoon.net/relativity, that you can go look at them. And so, all right, so this length contraction thing he's talking about, that was actually an effort by Lorentz to keep aether and consistent with the results of Michelson-Morley. It was a hypothesis. It was eventually thrown out, aether, Michael, and the Lorentz contraction as explained in relation to aether, was all that was thrown out. We do find Lorentz contraction showing up later in relativity, but that's a different thing. He's actually talking about aether in this case. Let's see what he does to do away with 100 years of experiments that have confirmed relativity.
Yes, you heard me right. They think that as we travel through space, you are getting bigger and smaller as you move. And in doing so, things happen to land in the same spot that they would. This is the theory of relativity, and it is a theory.
You're right, relativity is a theory, and in case you're curious there, Derek, a theory is the highest level of explanation in science. Some features of a scientific theory are that they have been thoroughly tested over an extended period. They provide accurate explanations and predictions for a wide range of phenomena, are widely accepted by the scientific community, and demonstrate strong experimental and observational support. So yes, relativity is a theory because it is confirmed and has been confirmed over a century. So what do you think about this theory?
A bull crap theory, if you ask me.
Nobody's asking you.
But nevertheless, you got people who believe it. So because they came up with an idea that you are changing size every second, people think that that disproved the ether, even though they didn't do a single experiment to prove this. Nope.
What do you mean they didn't do any other experiments? Are you research phobic? I thought flat earthers were always doing their own research. All right, there is the Michelson-Gale experiment, the Kennedy-Thorndike experiment, Ives Stilwell, Pound-Repka, Havel-Keating, the Scout Rocket experiment. I went over these already. They're on my website, mctoon.net/relativity. These flat earthers never do anything but pop of flirts.
They did an experiment that disproved the motion of the Earth, and then they twisted it and perverted it like everything else on Earth to fit their model. They literally threw out the ether that they knew existed when they started this experiment because they were doing the experiment to measure the ether, and because Nikola Tesla had made inventions that worked off of the ether.
I love when flat earthers bring up Tesla. They just have no idea. Tesla did not invent anything that used the ether. He transmitted electricity through the air. Never worked very well because you tend to get lightning, which is kind of dangerous. But it was just electricity, not ether. And also, Tesla doesn't really support you much either, there, flat earthers. From the 1915 New York American Journal, he published this article that said, accepting all this is true, let us consider some of the forces and influences which act on such a wonderfully complex automatic engine with organs inconceivably sensitive and delicate as it carries us by the spinning terrestrial globe in lightning flight through space. So no, that doesn't really work very well for you.
Oops.
They were well aware that the ether was there, but what they weren't is they weren't capable of letting go of their ego. Like many people, they just couldn't admit they were wrong. So instead, they came up with this bullcrap theory that we are literally expanding and shrinking as we go through time.
There it is, 1 century of empirical research debunked by a guy that didn't even read a paper. What do you think of that, Del?
It's nonsensical, absolute drivel.
I like this guy. Anyway, I debate flat earthers every week on my other channel, MC Toon Live. I invited Derek to debate me. He ran away, but I'll have somebody this next Tuesday anyway. Thanks especially to Mr. Katz, who gave me this channel and also gave a second channel to Mr. Sensible. Both of the links are in the description. We'll see you next time.
Well, so Katz is not doing much as he used to if he's giving away a couple of channels.
Yeah, he's not doing the flat Earth stuff anymore. So he started up another channel that seems to be going quite well. So
No.
So yeah, but it's been quite confusing between MC2 and Conspiracy Cats and Mr. Sensible. They're all over the bloody place.
Who voted for what for the end-time?
What, the Mars?
Was it Mars or
Yeah.
the oscillating Earth's core one?
My vote's Mars.
Yeah. Get your ass to Mars.
Yeah, get your ass to Mars.
How many weeks? 2 weeks. When he goes through the thing at the airport or whatever you call it.
Yeah, you can't get to Mars in 2 weeks.
No, he says how long you're staying. It's just 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he's then,
Different movie.
I don't care.
He doesn't say that in that movie. Next you're going to say, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
But did he come back?
Oh, he did say that he'd be back, and indeed, he was. Oh, dear.
Sorry, Kyle. You got outvoted.
Yeah, you're not getting the wobbles today.
Mars. Today we're going to be discussing some of the recent discoveries in regards to the red planet, and specifically the discoveries in regards to the unusual dust storms that we've observed on Mars, the new discoveries about the aurora on Mars, and even the discoveries in regards to the amount of radiation on the surface of this planet, and what we can do to try to prevent the radiation poisoning for future astronauts. With all of these studies in regards to all of this, as always, in the description below. And let's start with the most recent finding in regards to the dust storms. The unusual phenomena that are present on Mars during certain seasons, which can sometimes encompass the entire planet. For example, this iconic image from 2001 shows us what Mars sort of looks like before and during the dust storm. And we know that it can potentially cause some major problems for a lot of things operating on the surface. As you might be aware, in June of 2018, NASA has lost one of its major probes. The Opportunity rover that was active on Mars since 2004 unfortunately lost its ability to generate energy due to a massive dust storm in the mid-2018, which even during daytime would make these skies appear as you see them on the right, with Mars once again transforming so much that you couldn't even see the surface anymore. The image on the right here shows you what it looked like during the storm. And for the Opportunity that relied on its solar panels, here's what these skies would look like from the surface. There would be practically no sun whatsoever. Here's roughly how much energy was produced during this time, and notice how by June 10th, when the storm was at its peak, the amount of energy generated was only 22 watts. That's from the almost 700 watts generated in the beginning. With this being the last image taken by the Opportunity on June 10th of 2018. And now we have this other probe called InSight that's basically facing a very similar problem, with the dust slowly causing the probe to shut down over time. And because any future Martian mission would probably have to rely more on solar panels as opposed to a lot of other ways to generate energy such as nuclear power, it means that the scientists have to really figure out how these Martian storms operate, how to predict them, and more importantly, what we can possibly do to prevent their effects, or maybe find areas around Mars where the effects are not as dramatic. And so this recent study that you can find in the description tries to figure out exactly what causes these storms to become so powerful and what seasonal changes trigger certain dust storms. And this study relies on something known as the seasonal energy imbalance, also sometimes referred to as the radiant energy budget, with the main explanation being the solar energy, the amount of solar energy absorbed and released by the planet itself. So essentially it focuses on this balance between the absorption of energy and the release of energy. For example, we know that for our own planet, in terms of the seasonal and daily variations between the amount of energy absorbed and released from the sun, the so-called energy imbalance is approximately 0.4%. In other words, there's a little bit of a difference in terms of seasonal changes between how much energy is absorbed and released, with all of this being actively regulated by the planet itself through various gases in the atmosphere and through the presence of, for example, ice and snow on the surface, which tends to reflect light. But because it's about 0.4%, it means that our planet can generally maintain a relatively constant temperature. But Mars seems to have very strong seasonal and even daily variations in terms of the amount of energy that's radiated back from Mars. In other words, once in a while, the planet seems to have a very large imbalance, up to about 15.3%, which means that in between seasons, the amount of energy absorbed versus reflected can change by about 15.3%, and that is a huge imbalance compared to planet Earth with just 0.4%. This means that once in a while, during certain seasons, there is an excess of energy on the surface of the planet, and this could be one of the potential mechanisms generating these massive dust storms. For example, during the huge dust storm in 2001, the scientists discovered that the amount of power that was emitted from the planet decreased by 22% during daytime, but also increased by 29% during nighttime, with even more variation between seasons. So this could be the mechanism that's causing these storms to become so powerful, although the actual process is still unknown. You have to remember, this is still a correlation study, not a causation study. And so trying to understand how this energy imbalance might affect other planets, and also obviously figuring out exactly what this imbalance is for all of the planets in the solar system, could be one of the potential future studies and could help us understand how all of this works. But dust storms is just one of many problems we would have to deal on Mars if we were to establish a permanent human colony on the surface. We also have the issue of radiation, cosmic radiation, coming from both the sun and a lot of powerful objects around the universe. And because both NASA and even China are now planning to send astronauts to Mars, both agencies are quite interested in trying to figure out how to potentially protect human life from exposure to a lot of radiation in the process. At the moment, it's believed that some of the first crewed missions might actually happen around the year 2033 and potentially then also in 2035 and 2037. Those are the years when Mars is going to be at just the right position for future missions to be launched from Earth. And so when it comes to trying to protect astronauts living here from potential radiation, there are obviously several solutions, although none of them currently would be very effective. First of all, there is a bit of an atmosphere on the planet, and surface pressure on Mars does change quite a lot depending on where you are. Certain locations which are much higher up, in this case visible in blue, will have much lower pressure and thus more radiation on the surface, whereas the much lower regions will usually contain much higher pressure and thus more atmosphere to absorb some of the cosmic rays coming from distant regions. Which means that we should probably try to aim to launch some of the crewed missions to some of these lower regions, such as for example in different deep craters where the surface pressure is already higher and thus a lot less protection is needed to create a livable habitat. And specifically here we're talking about the shielding that's required further on. And in this case the shielding is probably going to be made from the regolith on Mars, with the best type of habitat very likely being underground. And here the scientists determined that the depth has to be at least 1 meter deep to possibly 1.6 meters. Mostly because anything smaller than that can still create what's known as the cosmic ray showers. Basically when the cosmic ray hits for example, some kind of a shield, and then starts to create a lot of secondary particles and produces a relatively high neutron flux inside the spaceship or inside the habitat. Something that in this case the scientists believe peaks at around 30 centimeters or approximately 1 foot in depth, which means that any kind of a protection on Mars has to be more than that, preferably at least 1 meter or 3 feet thick. And so by combining the information about the surface pressure with the maps of radiation on Mars, the scientists determined that some of the best locations for a potential future mission would probably be low-lying regions such as the famous Valles Marineris that you see right here, that doesn't just have high surface pressure on the inside, but also has recently been discovered to potentially possess water deposits somewhere in these regions as well. So it's very likely that some of the first crewed missions might actually be landing somewhere near this, and then developing the first Martian colonies inside the valley itself. And since this is a pretty large structure, there is quite a lot of real estate to choose from. But obviously, because this is still a decade away, we don't really know where all of this goes just yet. And last but not least, we also have certain discoveries in regards to the mysterious Martian aurora. The aurora that seem to be mostly visible in the UV light, but seem to always appear on the night side of the planet, and are definitely not produced in the same way like planet Earth. More importantly, the recent discoveries from the HOPE mission have also found that certain aurora on Mars are very different both in shape and in appearance. But since Mars doesn't have any magnetosphere, it's always been kind of difficult to explain how these aurora are formed. Naturally, because on Earth, all of this is due to the magnetosphere of the planet, and the aurora generally follow the magnetic lines. And so in this case, the scientists used a lot of data collected by the MAVEN mission that's been orbiting Mars for a while now, with the probe itself also collecting data on the solar wind, which was also used for this study. And here they mostly compared the pressure of the solar wind and the UV data from Martian auroras, as well as the strength and the angle of various minute magnetic fields generated on the surface of Mars as a result of various solar activity. And it looks like, as a lot of scientists thought originally, the aurora here are essentially produced by very localized magnetic fields that seem to occur only in certain regions of the Martian crust, and usually in southern hemisphere. And this magnetic field is usually created from the interaction with the solar wind, with the aurora more or less concentrated near the areas that the scientists refer to as the strong crustal field regions, visible in this rectangle right there. And it looks like inside these regions, the aurora occurrence mostly depends on the orientation of the solar wind and the magnetic field. In other words, it becomes relatively easy for the scientists to predict the occurrence of the aurora. But outside of these regions, the aurora seem to be more connected to the overall pressure from the solar wind itself. So it looks like there are at least two ways of generating aurora on the surface of the planet, with the most powerful predictor being the sun itself. The more powerful the coronal mass ejection, the more stuff comes toward Mars, the more likely the aurora are to appear somewhere on the surface. Although interestingly, the power of the coronal mass ejection doesn't seem to influence the brightness of the aurora, with the aurora generated inside these crustal magnetic regions very likely being generated through various magnetic reconnection events kind of similar to planet Earth. But the mechanism itself is not super clear yet. It's just clear that these particular regions with higher content of various magnetic particles do seem to play a role. Although exactly what's producing these regions is also not clear yet because nobody has ever dug into those areas yet. But all of this is to some extent connected to what we're planning to do on Mars in the next few decades, a mission to Mars. A crewed mission to Mars, with astronauts very likely staying there for at least a few months. So by studying all of this and by discovering what conditions the human body will have to experience on the surface of this planet is of course really important in order to determine how we can safely both deliver and then return the astronauts from this planet. But at least for now, all of this is still very preliminary. We still don't really have a very good plan for how all of this will be executed, but hopefully in the next decade, all of this will become a little bit more obvious. And so until future studies or until future discoveries, that's all I wanted to mention. Check out all of the relevant links in the description below, and check out some of the previous discoveries about Mars in the videos somewhere right there or in the description as well. Subscribe, maybe share this video with someone who loves learning about space and sciences, come back tomorrow to learn something else, and support this channel on Patreon by joining channel membership or by buying the Wonderful Person t-shirt you can find in the description. Stay wonderful, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, we knew about the dust on the solar panels of the rovers thing. That was a problem.
It's getting dark and my battery is getting low, or something like that. That was the last message from Opportunity. That's right, my battery's low and it is getting dark. Oh.
We'll have to send somebody up there to just brush all the dust off there.
Well, they think half the problem is that because it lost a lot of power, They think even its clock might have reset, and it wouldn't have known when to use what little power was left to power itself back up and receive commands from Earth. So basically, it just, it died. I'm sure if somebody went up there, they could get it working again, but what's the point?
Switch, turn it off and put it back on again. Yeah, we've got to send someone to Mars to turn the rover off and then back on again.
All you've got to do is go and blow the dust off.
Yeah.
Clear the panels.
But the dust storms also were hindering the solar effects of the panels as well, I'd say.
Well, that's the whole point. The dust storms, the dust in the dust storms was gathering on the solar panels and basically covering them. So they couldn't work. That was the thing. They weren't getting any sunlight onto them to generate any electricity. And eventually, it used up what little battery life it had left, and I think that was it.
Yeah, but even if the dust was not the dust that was on the solar panels, but even the dust storms were hindering some of the sun. It would have been coming through.
Oh yeah. It was blocking the atmosphere and would stop the light getting through. Yeah, but it is a combination of that and the panels getting covered in dust and yeah.
Wonder if they could have got the panels to fold back up vertically and the dust would have fell off, unless it's the type of dust that sticks.
Yeah, I don't know.
What time is it? How long have we been going for? Oh, I still had Simon. Oh, we're going to have to finish off with Simon.
Fair enough.
Can you do the blowy thing that you did on an old console game? What?
Oh, yeah. When they were
vertical panel and high wind, probably not a good idea for the person's thinking. Yeah, it'll blow it over. Yeah.
Well, high wind on Mars is relative because there's bugger all air pressure.
I'm still sharing to you guys,
Yeah.
We took a brief look at one Che Lin. She is not a believer of the typical flat earth Gleason map where we have the North Pole in the middle like the one on screen now. She has a different opinion, and it is quite simply the funniest attempt of explaining a map I have ever seen. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a massive thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Under Lucky Stars. Under Lucky Stars makes beautiful personalised star maps showing the unique to get your loved ones a unique gift. That's underluckystars.com/SimonDan and use my code SimonDan or click the link in the description. Right, back to today's video where flat earther Che Lin is going to explain to us all how the globe is wrong and how her biblical flat earth map is right. This one is genuinely amazing. You cannot miss it. Here we go.
I want you guys to think about this for a minute. This is what we're told. We're told that we're on a globe like this. A perfectly round globe like this, and we're spinning like this.
Well, no, we're not told that. We actually spin more like this.
Yeah, no, we could hardly register.
Actually, that's probably still too fast.
At 65,000 miles per hour.
Yes, that's our rough orbital speed, not our rotational speed. Bloody hell.
And not only is that happening, while we're spinning, we're flying through the atmosphere.
Wow.
Like this.
We're flying through our own atmosphere. Okay, so far she's not got one thing correct.
That's happening. And we're spinning.
Ah, globe, are you okay?
I broke my globe. where is this thing at? And this thing that holds the earth. And if I like keep going a certain way, will I run into it?
Hang on, is she asking where the giant plastic pieces are in real life? Oh, for fuck.
It's back in there. Okay, so while this globe is spinning, look how much of it is water. I can't remember the percentage, but all of this is water.
70% of the surface.
Yes, this is happening.
If you pour water on a ball, oh, it goes off.
Yeah, the thing is, if you pour water on a small ball while sitting on a 40,000 kilometre circumference ball, then the 40,000 kilometre circumference ball is going to have a slightly larger gravitational pull, isn't it? So that water is going to end up being attracted to the larger ball rather than the small one, isn't it?
But does, I don't even know if I can spin it. Does this make it stick on the ball? No, because now it is splashing on me.
I think we've seen enough of an unbelievably poor grasp of Earth science. Let's move on, shall we? Oh, hang on, one more gem.
What about a firefighter? Does a firefighter stay on a spinning globe? No.
Amazing, isn't it?
So if you're thinking with your own mind and not the mind that you've been programmed with your entire life, by getting the globe thrown in your face in school, on every teacher's desk, in every single movie, before movies even start playing, if you can get rid of that programming and think about it, what if Earth is really like this?
What, plasticine in a tray?
This is what it's really like. This is the biblical Earth. It has boundaries. It has boundaries that we can't get to. You can't go to Antarctica and you can't go to the North Pole either. It's illegal to go to those areas. They don't allow it.
No, it's not.
Yes, they do.
I can actually book a trip to the North Pole right now if I wanted to.
And no one's ever flown over the North Pole or the South Pole. As far as the West and the East go, you can't fly to the boundary, like to the very end of the West or the very end of the East. And if you fly in one direction, you don't go back in the other direction.
Tell that to the thousands that fly from the US to Asia or Australia every single day.
Like eventually you run out of fuel. That's what happens. Research it. You run out of fuel. Now,
Research it.
People. Can people live on this earth?
Just like she didn't.
That doesn't move. It doesn't move. The biblical earth does not move. It stands firm. I should have had the biblical scriptures ready for this portion of the video, but I can always post those, or you can just look them up. People on this earth, it's not moving. Airplane flying from one side to the other. Buildings and mountains.
I think she's too far gone, isn't she? You know the water's about to come out, don't you?
Yeah, I thought the water's going to have to come into it sooner
The
or
earth
later.
isn't moving. I'm the one moving it.
Bound to.
And why is the sky blue? Why is water blue? Because it's covered with a dome.
Oh no, your dome crushed all the people.
It's covered with a dome and it doesn't move.
She's trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Guess what else?
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Guess what else you can do with this earth? Look, it holds the water. It holds the water and it doesn't move.
And it would do.
Yes, I know. This is a grown woman putting plasticine in a tray and then pouring water over it, then claiming that this is the actual Earth we live on. Let's move on to her map, shall we?
So this is the actual map. The north is the north, the south is the south, west is west, east is east.
So it's a pack.
Yeah, that's a normal Mercator projection map. You're not surely telling us that this is how the biblical Earth is, are you? Surely not. It's just lazy more than anything.
It's exactly like a compass. It has four corners: northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast. It's this right here. Ships have gone to the north and they have gotten stuck. They've gone to the south and they've gotten stuck. And now we can't even legally go there.
Again, yes we can. And what ships are getting stuck? Stuck in the ice? Stuck on a mystical edge? What?
This is the map right here. If you are here, you're going to see northern lights. If you're down here, you're going to, I shouldn't say up and down because it's like this. It's flat. It's not flat. It's biblical.
Had to correct yourself.
It's biblical, but it's like this. And it has boundaries. Boundaries that no one has ever gone to. Research shipwrecks and research flight crashes. And you'll find out that they're like too far here or too far there. Or in the Bermuda Triangle, where the two magnetic poles meet, and it can literally suck you into the earth.
And I think we'll leave that there with the Bermuda Triangle magnetically sucking you into the earth.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear. Well, there we go. What a fascinating look at Che Lin's map. Even though it was just a Mercator projection map in a bowl. But hey ho. For now, we are all done and dusted for another Flat Earth Friday. I'm so glad you joined me. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. It's truly appreciated, as I always say. If you enjoyed it today, and then please do hit that subscribe button. We're really making a push for that 500,000 subscribers. And of course, if you really enjoyed it, hit that like button too. Just enough time to once again thank Underlucky Stars for sponsoring today. Remember, visit underluckystars.com/SimonDan and use my promo code SimonDan for an extra 10% discount. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Misconception Mini. See you then.
I certainly hope that woman knows some tricks she can do with a boa constrictor and a couple of tassels, because otherwise, she's basically useless.
Yeah.
She can do that trick with the ping pong balls. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Allegedly.
Well, only one ping pong ball?
Oh, no, several.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Idiocracy isn't a movie. It's a documentary.
I'm afraid it's getting that way, yeah. Yeah.
I agree, Dora.
Yeah. Bloody well is. But it's got electrolytes.
Gee, if we're spinning that fast, I wonder how the physics would work out if we're... Because I know some planets do spin a bit faster than what... Well, not spin, but rotate a little bit faster than what we do.
Not quite that fast, though.
But not that
no.
No.
If you put up a picture of Earth from space and told somebody they were watching a live video of Earth rotating, you wouldn't notice any bloody difference. Not for some time. 15 degrees an hour is nothing.
Well, that's your lot for the week. Or for the weekend, for Saturday.
Oh,
we're into another month already. Jeez, this year's going quick.
I know.
Second half of the year, Terry.
Well, the Americans will be getting pissed on Monday.
Yeah, we don't celebrate that.
Well, why would you?
Yeah.
Well, that's tomorrow for us because it's the 3rd already now. What's our equivalent to that then? I wonder. Probably 1900 when we did our. Would it be 1900, Paul, when we formed our?
No, we don't have an equivalent because we're not a republic.
Yeah.
So I thought you celebrated what's his face's landing in 1790 or 1780 or whatever it was. In what got In what got killed by the Tongans or whoever a little bit later.
Cook.
Yeah, that's the one. Was that Big Cook or Little Cook?
It was Captain Cook. Don't know how big he was.
Well, it's just TV series, wasn't there?
He was, as they put it, well heeled. I mean, he literally made it round the world 4 times. Well, technically, I think he did make it round the world 4 times, didn't he?
Yeah, they brought him
because they brought him back.
Yeah.
So he made the trip, and he was alive for most of it.
Navigate.
I think he pretty much did on the first one, didn't he? Because it was mainly the he was going out to the Pacific for the transit, wasn't he? Was that the first one? Oh, I can't remember. I'm sure it was. And that's the one that the flat earthers tried to claim. The distance of his first voyage proves that the South Pole is that huge ring of ice going around the outside because of the distance he covered. And it's like, where did he set off from? It's not like he set off from Chile. He set off from here in the UK and had to go all the way down the Atlantic, both North and South Atlantic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, had to make the return journey again to come home, and that's all part of the the distance he covered. But they seem to gloss over that. I don't know why.
Didn't he make it pretty much up to Alaska and across to pretty much Australia and?
Well, yeah, but when you look at particularly the bit around Australia, I'm sure there's a section there where he's just going all over the bloody place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Check out that route he took.
Hmm.
It would appear that boy was in bad need of a magnetic compass.
Which way are we going? Oh,
that way.
That away. Yeah, it got Jack Sparrow's compass, hadn't he?
He did a lot of loop-de-loops around there.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
I mean, he pretty much circumnavigated it. Oh, without going all the way down to Antarctica, he pretty much circumnavigated the Pacific, didn't he? Just about.
Yeah, pretty close. He was having a look at a hell of a lot of things.
He did. His first voyage, he circumnavigated the Earth. He set off from London. He went all the way south, round the tip of South America, and then he was up and down across the Pacific and sort of found New Zealand and skirted up and around Australia, the Philippines, cut across the Indian Ocean, sailed around the tip of Africa and came back home again. I mean, his first trip was around the world.
Oh, we did all that ages ago with Captain Cook and his journeys.
Yeah. But the flat earthers always lie about that and say, "Oh, look at the distance he covered. He went there." That's our, one of our proofs that the South Pole is this big ring of ice. It's like, no. I mean, apart from the fact that every 2 years they hold a yacht race that goes around Antarctica.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I think I was mixing up all 3 of his voyages then.
Yeah, the red one is his first one, and you can see he leaves Plymouth and comes all the way down the Atlantic, north and south, round Cape Horn, faffs about in the Pacific, and that would have been him doing the transit. What was it? The transit of Venus. Because that was the main point of his voyage. Somebody, they wanted somebody to go out and observe the transit from the other side of the world. So yeah, off he went to the Pacific.
He seemed to have a fascination with New Zealand and Cook Islands area there over in the Pacific, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he'd done a loop-de-loop off the bottom of Cape Hope in Africa there, down to the Arctic Circle.
In his second voyage, yeah, he was all over the place.
Yeah. But you know why he did that? For one of the reasons. Wind.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go that way because the wind can take us that way, but if we want to go that way, we're going to have to go the other way. He looks like he made it up to past the Arctic Circle there, but through the Bering Strait. But maybe the pack ice was a little bit too much for the little wooden ship to go much further. And the time of year too, it doesn't say what time of year it was for that one.
No.
It just says between 78 and 79.
Yeah.
There we go. Get rid of that. Get back to that. Oh, better stop that share.
No, so I'm going very quiet.
Oh, we had a
They all qualified, didn't they?
Qualifying's done. Oh, in half an hour, it's the second Formula 2 race. That'll get a bit noisy then, and that will. Oh no, still got the Porsches to come out later on yet.
But they don't go as much as they used to, the Formula Ones.
They don't sound as good as, you know, the V8s or the V10s of old.
Yeah.
Piffling little 1600 and half the energy's electric, you know. Well, it's not as unfair, but even so, they don't sound the same.
We had a bit of a full house out there. Who'd we have? JMC Laugh, Boomer, Microraptor, Dora, Thurston.
You be bloody careful saying that now.
I know, I have to be careful.
You nearly got it wrong.
I nearly said it. Sorry, slip of the tongue. Carl. Did I say Dora, Jezza, Spooky, Clive. A couple of newbies out there, Vim Fondle.
Yes, we had some virgins, did we?
Yeah.
Andrea Huddle. Thurston second. Truth Nerds. Dave Cannabis. That's it, I can't go any further. I know there was other people out there before that, but I can't remember who else was there. Dora, Carl, Resident Flurfer Gary, who was there earlier. Yeah.
Gary the idiot.
Now, well, thanks. You dox us?
Yeah.
You dox us or you dox yourself?
You dox us. Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Farmer's Boy. You
You're
met
welcome.
your #1 fan the other day, too. And I didn't know if it sucked or blew.
Well, unfortunately, it was supposed to blow, but it sucked.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Big Blue. And thanks for confusing Bev even more.
It's not difficult.
If that's even possible.
Yeah, if it's possible. Ugh. Okay then, Peanuts and panel. We'll see you on Wednesday. So good night from me, and it's good night from him.
And him. And good
him.
night, Peanuts.
Okay.
Good night, Peanuts.
Any words of wisdom before, so I can cut you off this time, Farmer?
No. No.
Why is that doing that out there? Got a technical difficulty, have I? Just checking for something before I got to fix something. Do I have a look at it? Why is that doing that? Ah, I see the problem. Right, stay there.
I'm staying.
It's staying.